Good morning, Raptorsfreak. Alexiot's here. Wednesday morning, and I had a couple different ideas about what I wanted to do the topic on today. And then last night, boy, something dropped on our laps from Rico Hines Runs this week. Listen, oh my gosh, craziness, craziness. But first, breaking news. Raptor Freak breaking news. This just happened in like the last 15 minutes. This is like not even the twits. There's only one of the twits who's got it on Twitter right now. Blake Murphy is announcing that the Raptors have signed Gabe Brown of the Michigan State Spartans, 4-year college player who did not get drafted in this draft this year, was in summer league for Oklahoma City Thunder and did not attach himself to that team. So they waived him, and now we've picked him up, and he is in our 20th spot for our roster now. Gabe Brown is 6'8". He's a small forward, and he has a wingspan. So let's just put it that way. He's a long shot. I want to just read you guys what Blake Murphy's saying about the Gabe Brown signing this morning. He says the Raptors have signed Gabe Brown. Would imagine it's an Exhibit 10 with an eye towards 905 development. And he can confirm that it is, in fact, an Exhibit 10 per source. As a reminder, that's a minimum non-guaranteed deal that come into camp. Technically can make the team, but more likely getting his G League rights and then getting him a $50,000 bonus if he stays with Raptors 905. And just a little bit more, assuming a Christian Coloco signs, that's the full camp roster of 20 for the Raptors. They could always waive someone like they did Armani and bring more Exhibit 10s for 905, but it's likelier there's earlier camp cuts and sign and waive somebody else as they have before. So this is exciting. We have another new player to go look at and check out, Gabe Brown. Now he's interesting because he's had 4 years at Michigan State, and that he's a full-time college player. He's probably very well developed and stuff like that. His stats aren't that outstanding to see, like to me, especially the fact that his rebounds are so low. Like for a forward and a guy his size, he should have better rebound numbers. But we'll see. I mean, the Raptors see something in him. He's got a chip on his shoulders because he does really feel like he should have been drafted. So we'll have to see if he's this kind of guy like Fred that's kind of like, you should have drafted me and I'm going to make people pay. But this could very well be that they really like him for 905, that we're setting him up for a route to be on the 905, even though he's in our training camp, and that he may be somebody that gets cut from the regular roster, but he's playing for our Raptors 905 all season, stuff like that. So G's saying, yeah, just signed Gabe Brown. Gabe Brown is the latest Raptor. Welcome to the Raptors family. Gabe Brown. Yeah, this was a little curveball. Like I literally was preparing for this stream and I started like, oh, there's a new Raptor like 5-10 minutes ago. And I'm like, okay, let me go look at what he's all about real quick just now. Tom Duke's saying, cool. I have no idea what the bottom of the roster is going to be. And good morning to Monique. Monique, have you seen the new signing of Gabe Brown from Michigan State? Is taking Armani's place. This to me, I like because the man's taller. The man would fit Vision 6'9" a lot better and stuff like that. So we'll have to see. G saying half the Raptors are at Rico Runs and Pascal and Barnes look great. And good morning, Jan. Yeah, G, listen, this is the interesting thing. On Sunday, I was thinking, man, it'd be really cool if Scotty was in California for his birthday to do Rico Hines with Pascal and Rico. And I'm like, this would be really ideal. And then I saw Jeff Doughton saying that he was in LA all of a sudden. I was like, well, that would be cool if Jeff Doughton showed up and he was at Rico Hines also. And I was right. That was what Scotty was doing on his birthday. He was running with Rico Hines all day on his birthday, sweating and doing exactly what he loves to do on his birthday the most. And that's play pickup basketball with really good competition and feeling good about it. And we have gotten our first highlight mix from last night. And I'm going to tell you, it didn't disappoint. And there's a couple of things I can take from this footage from Rico Hines yesterday. Like, first of all, watching it, you realize, wait, that's DJ Wilson. Wait, that's Delano Banton. Wait a second. Is that Ron Harper Jr. in the background there? That's right, guys. There's 9 Raptors at Rico Hines right now, all running together. It's insane who all's out there. And the great thing is they are putting them on the same squads. So this really is like a Raptors pre-training camp. This is like a training camp for the Raptors, really. And they get all these great talents from other teams that they're competing against there, like James Harden, Tyrese Halliburton. Montrezl Harrell's there right now. Thomas Bryant. They're playing against other NBA players that are up and coming, except they can have a whole Raptors squad because there's 9 Raptors there. And I'm going to go over which 9 are there right now. And it's absolutely badass. I love it so much. It's just warmed my heart to see all them wearing Raptor gear, either the shorts or a shirt or something. Rico Hines, we know he's an assistant coach for the Raptors now. This is Rico Hines Runs is unofficially a Raptors training camp. I'm sorry, it's just that way. So we got 3 out of our 5 starters there with Scotty, Pascal, and Gary Trent Jr. is there. I know we haven't seen him in any of the footage yet, but he is technically there. He was in the picture where everybody's coming in for orientation and Rico's doing his opening speech. You can see Gary on the edge of the picture wearing some really swaggy clothes and his hair up. So Gary is also at Rico Hines right now. So we got 3 out of our 5 starters there. No OG and no Fred. Then we got Malachi's there. Once again, Malachi's hitting everything that's important to show off what he can do. And he has a really cool highlight from last night. Like he has a really nice fake crossover, go around the guy and lay the ball in the Rico Hines highlights from yesterday. So Malachi, you're killing it right now. And in fact, I have more Malachi news to give you guys in a second. But yeah, Malachi's there. And then we got the two-way guys are both there, Ron Harper Jr. and Jeff Doughton Jr. And from the highlights that I was looking at, Jeff Doughton has a little bit of a dogged defense. Like he's trying to guard Tyrese Halliburton in the clip that I saw. And he does a really good job of catching back up to him, going around, fighting around a screen, just really engaged and right on him like this, Jeff Doughton. I'm sorry, Shane. I wanted to prove whoever it was that was saying they didn't think Jeff Doughton's a good defender. I want to prove you wrong before the things are done. But yeah, it's really cool to see both the two ways there. And then we've got a couple guys that are fighting for spots on the team. And I'll tell you what, them showing up and being at Rico Hines is a sign of good faith. That, you know what, these maybe need to be the guys who should be on the team because they're showing it and they're there and they're working. And that's Delano Banton, DJ Wilson, and Christian Coloco. That's right. Coloco's at the Rico Hines Run also, guys. This is crazy. That's the list. Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Gary Trent Jr., Malachi Flynn, Jeff Doughton Jr., Ron Harper Jr., Christian Coloco, Delano Banton, and DJ Wilson. Every single one of them is at Rico Hines this week, running together, getting that Raptors synergy up and getting it going. And in fact, I might have saw something, but I think Gabe Brown is there also. There may be actually exactly half of the 10 of the 20 training camp roster spots that the Raptors are holding right now. I think exactly half of them there because I think Gabe Brown is also at Rico Hines right now, guys, on the down low. Yeah, very, very cool stuff. We might have 9 or 10 of them there and stuff like that. Really, really cool stuff. Yeah, G saying Coloco's there too. I was really happy to see Coloco there lurking in the background with a gray Raptors shirt saying Raptors across it. And I was like, is that Coloco? I was trying to figure it out. I was like, is that Coloco or Thomas Bryant? And I was like, oh, there's Thomas Bryant. He's wearing black. And yeah, okay, that is definitely Coloco then. All right, let's see. David S. is saying, just want to say something quickly. Yesterday during the trivia, when I gave that answer, blood clotting research, I was actually making a guess. Wasn't trying to make a joke. You didn't realize that was actually, yeah, okay. I think you were, because of his retirement, you were thinking, well, maybe he's putting money into the research for that. I get it. I know. It's all good, David. Don't worry about it. You're not cracking on Chris Bosh or anything like that. It's just like, it is what it is. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's not that you were making a joke about anything. We're not judging you for that. I just thought that was I thought it was a joke at that moment, but I can see where you actually thought that that's something, because sometimes people get ailments or somebody in their family, a loved one gets an ailment, and then they really get behind that cause and stuff like that. So I can see why you think it's that and stuff like that. Maybe it was really a dumb guess, but I was actually taking a guess on his second foundation. It's all good, David. Don't worry, man. You're winning, and you look brilliant when you're playing Raptorsfreak trivia. So don't worry for that. That's nothing. You didn't step in any doo-doo there. It's all good. Monique saying, why were LeBron and Draymond acting a fool in Toronto or Yorkville? Well, they were here for Caravana. Monique, they came for the partying. They came here to be in Toronto around all the great parties and the people in Toronto coming up here for last weekend and the spectacle of the parade and having everybody feeling good and happy. I mean, it's been a couple years and they want to get in that vibe and feel it. That's why Draymond and LeBron were in town last weekend. It's really because of Caravana. Now we see LeBron's with his family, his sons, and they're playing they're showing highlights of them playing. It's really interesting what's happening with his sons. One of his sons is like surpassed the other son with height all of a sudden, the younger son, because everybody was talking about Bronny for years now, but Bronny's only around my height, like 6'4". And this kid, Bryce, is like sprouted like a weed during the pandemic. And now all of a sudden he's like 6'6", 6'7", and stuff like that. And everybody's talking about Bryce with the goggles now instead. I don't know. LeBron and his kids are interesting and stuff like that. And they're showing a lot of highlights of them in practice right now and stuff like that. So don't worry, David. We're not thinking anything about it. Don't go think any further than this. It's just it was a good guess at that time. You're right. It could have fit the whole category. It's just that I thought it was funny in that moment. It's maybe me that's being tacky about it. So he said, all right, brilliant. Minus my two mainland guesses. You were like, what the hell is mainland? Why do you keep writing that? And then I got the Pawnee reference. It's actually from Parks and Recreation. The Pawnee whatever golf thing is the episode that Chris Bosch is in, probably on Parks and Recs. And I finally put that together. Pawnee is in Parks and Recs. Anyway, we're talking too much about yesterday. Yesterday's yesterday. We got to keep moving forward because the Raptors are moving forward. That's for sure. So yeah, let's talk about this Rico Hines just a little bit more right here. Like this is really cool. Like what's happening. We've got Rico Hines on our staff now. So like, listen, some people are joking this could be tampering because we got James Harden and other stars from other teams that are there and stuff like that. Listen, this has happened for years and years. Let's do a little history lesson on the Rico Hines runs. These have been going on for over like 10 plus years. And the first person that really brought the Raptors into the Rico Hines runs is Norman Powell, guys. The Rico Hines runs are very based around UCLA because Rico Hines went to UCLA and Steve Lavin and all these different people that have to do with UCLA have to do with Rico Hines. And Norman Powell went to UCLA and he brought Pascal to the Rico Hines runs when Pascal was very young in his career, like that, the very beginning. And it's this kind of thing where Pascal showed up, Rico started working with him, and it was a really good working relationship that they were feeling good leaps and bounds between each other. Pascal was seeing great things happen with him. And he's like, this dude knows what he's talking about. So I'm going to keep coming to work with him every summer. And then Rico was kind of like, man, I get a lot of rewarding feelings from seeing Pascal get better and better and better. I mean, because if you think about it, if Rico got in with Pascal at the beginning of his career and he saw who he was, he really probably helped mold him into becoming a most improved player, an all NBA player, an all-star, and all this stuff. So it's got to be super gratifying to Rico to see this. And Pascal totally trusts him because he sees the results and the real deal things that have happened to him in his career by working with him in his development coaching style. And now it's just like, wow, thank you, Norman Powell, for opening that door for Pascal Siakam. And now it's like, it's true. In the last couple of years, this isn't even the first year that this has looked like a Raptors training camp. That there's been years in the past, like where a whole lot of Raptors have been at Rico Hines, and we've kind of overwhelmed that thing. Well, this is what's happening again this year, and it's with our assistant coach, Rico Hines, running the show now. So what a great week. And the crazy thing is, Rico Hines means something to all the NBA fans. Like, this is the crazy thing about it. They love Rico Hines. They think they want to see it in the middle of August because they're starved for NBA content. They're starved for anything, any little crumb of little bit of NBA basketball content. So Rico Hines highlights have become very historically have become like, oh, we can't wait for the Rico Hines mixtape. Well, now all these NBA fans in the States are going to get this mixtape and they're going to be, why are so many Raptors at Rico Hines? And wait a second, why is Rico Hines a coach on the Raptors? What's going on here? But yeah, I think it's awesome and it's fun. And in some ways, we're going to get a spotlight on the Raptors this week just because it's a Raptors pre-training camp training camp. It really is at this point. It's so awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Monique saying, I saw that they got Gabe Brown. Yeah, Gabe Brown. I'm intrigued. I have no idea that much about him. I do know that he wears the same number as his father. His father had died just like 5 or 6 years ago. Suddenly, he's raised by his brother. He's, he was a 4-year college player at Michigan State. So that means he got his full schooling, the full 4 years at Michigan State. And that's always attractive in some ways. Now, I think that we should expect this for Gabe Brown, that he's going to be on our 905 and that he's not going to make the regular roster, and that he'll be a project on the 905 level for this year because he's a rookie. He's somebody who just came out in the draft, didn't get drafted, and Oklahoma City gave him a look. But you got to think about this. Thunder have so many players that are young on their roster right now. It probably was tough for him to find a way that way, being undrafted with so many Thunder draft picks around. So they waived him, and now he's with us. Yeah, let's go. CC saying LeBron and Draymond were here to promote their tequila at Caravana. They had a promo party at Laval rooftop, and they were on a float at the parade. Yeah, see, there you go. They were participating in the festivities of the weekend and clowning around the city, also taking pictures with people, just having a good time. This is great. This is great for Toronto. This is exactly the opposite of what Chris Bouchard said earlier this summer, that these players love coming here for a Caravana and they have a good time. And I think that exactly what Chris Bouchard was the opposite. It was like, serious, look at how this city opens its arms up and has this amazing organized event over the weekend like this. And it's just beautiful, awesome thing. And it's such a beautiful thing. It symbolizes, represents, and celebrates. So hell yeah, they come here because it's fun. And there were a lot more celebrities and athletes here in town than we realized that came just for Caravana also. Yeah, Monique saying Rico Hines' speeches are serious, man. Yeah, they are. They totally are. And I think I like this. Like, I'm really was trying to visualize Rico Hines as an assistant coach with Nick Nurse this year. What is this going to look like? Are there going to be times where they got like there's in the army and like different things? Sometimes you have something called a sergeant at arms. You got your general who's in charge. You got your Nick Nurse, who's really the figurehead. He's the guy who says, this is how we do it here. I'm the leader. I'm the head coach. And you guys have got to listen to me. And maybe he's going to have a new weapon, a sergeant at arms, Rico Hines, who can kind of come in there and just like let them know, let them know, because that's a good skill to have, to be able to just like be really like inspired and let them know and like really like, oh man, him and Earl Watson, they're both very inspiring when they talk like that and the things they say. But I really like Rico's main message. It's all about team and winning. It's about doing the next winning play for in the game to help them win. And that sounds just like what a lot of the players and coaches were saying about last year. Scotty says it over and over again. When I'm on the court and what I'm trying to do and figure out in every moment is make the next winning play. And that's what Rico Hines is encouraging. And then another thing he said at the beginning of Rico Hines Runs this week is he wants everybody there to compete their ass off. Like, don't go soft here. He wants you to compete and show your best and really go hard at each other, is what he was telling them. And that's great. And you can tell from the highlights that they are. You can see what they're doing. And let's break down these highlights for a second. We can see a really nice spin move from Pascal in the paint and getting close to the basket and making a nice little easy shot. And then we see a thunderous dunk by Scotty Barnes. He gets around his defender and he's up on the rim. He's hanging up on, pulls himself up on it. That's hilarious. And then, like I said, we saw Malachi Flynn crossover dribble, beat his man to the basket and lay in. There's a couple of different other plays and stuff that are on there. There's kind of ones with Harden and Halliburton getting the score, but you see stuff with like Jeff Doughton playing defense, Ron Harper Jr. playing defense. Both of them were on both sides of the lane on the defense, and it was really interesting to see them kind of play the lower post defenders than like being out on the perimeter. They were kind of playing down the low post, and one of the things that I saw is really interesting stuff. The footage from Rico Hines, highly recommend everybody looking at it and checking it out. David saying, yeah, G actually does. Interested to see what happens with them next year. Let's see. Yeah, okay. G saying, if random gamers here, Harden actually looks in shape. Yeah, Harden. Listen, there's two things that are happening because of this Rico Hines thing. Us Raptor fans are just enthralled and awesome. Like seeing so many of our guys working together so early in the summer is such a beautiful thing. And then Sixers Nation's getting all these clips of James right now, and they're like, yeah, they're getting real excited and happy about this also and stuff like that. Yeah, I gotta give James Harden his due. He's putting in work this summer, and Sixers Nation should feel very optimistic about him. I can't forecast him being a dumpster fire this season because all signs are pointing away from that at this point. Like, I wish he was a personality problem on this team for different reasons, but I think he finally figured it out. And that's a problem for everybody else, that's for sure. But listen, we also got to remember, where's James in his career? Like, is he going to be at any kind of level like he was in Houston? We have to temper expectations for how good he can be this year, but he should be pretty good. And if he's bought in with the Sixers, look out. And I see random gamers here. I'm here. I'm just lurking right now. But yeah, I know some people were saying he's in the best shape since his Rockets days. I just want to see him do something on the court. Yeah, the prospects of this are crazy. I mean, you're talking about one of the greatest scorers ever in the history of the NBA. Somebody who's been maligned and kind of like misjudged at different times, partly because he hasn't been fully committed to winning or wanting to play too much. Like it seemed like he cared more about the strip club and wings at times than actually winning basketball or scoring or do anything. Well, I think that's changed. I don't know what happened with him. He must have had some sort of epiphany. Maybe he saw the bullshit in the Nets with Kyrie from the outside, and he's like, you know what? I understand how I hurt my team. And then when they traded him to Philly, he's probably like, all right, I'm not doing it this way this time. I'm getting it right this time. That may be the attitude and mentality that James has right now. It's like he saw Kyrie from the outside, and he's like, am I like this? He's probably asking the people near him. He's like, do I act like him at all in any kind of way? And they were like, yeah, you do. And like, oh, shit. He's like, I better get my career together. I love it. Kenny's saying, first time Pascal is having a healthy preseason. It's about to be awesome. Looks good in Rico camp. He does look really good. He looks really strong. Like him and Scotty look like they added muscle. And Scotty, and people are pointing out that Pascal's wearing a shooting sleeve, which is very interesting and different. I don't know if he'll wear it in the season, but he's wearing it right now at Rico Hines. Yeah. So, yeah, and it's the first time in 3 years, for Pascal, whether it's been the pandemic and all the stupid shit with that, whether it's been just that we couldn't have it or Pascal just didn't work out that one time during the pandemic. Finally, Pascal's getting in a proper, real workout without being injured or having pandemic issues bother him, stuff like that. And this could be, like I said, this is what the NBA is going to underestimate about the Raptors, is that last year we were a good team. We were real good. It's just we were hurt a lot of the season, and we missed our number one guy the first couple months of the season. And now we come in with a full head of steam. You better look out, NBA. I love that you guys have ranked us 5th in your power rankings to start. That's actually some good respect that we're ranked 5th in the East right now, just behind the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers, and the Heat. And that they've got us 5th. I love this because they could have disrespected us and put us below Brooklyn. They could have disrespected us and put us below Cleveland, stuff like that. But they didn't. They put us probably in a pretty accurate spot. I think we'll end up higher, obviously, but it's not that slighting of us that they actually put us 5th in the East for power rankings. I think we'll be top 4, maybe the top team. So we'll have to see what happens. That's my opinions here. And that's pretty much what the show is also. My opinion. Let's see. Are you still doing the free Scotty Barnes Raptor jersey drawing today? It's a good idea, but no, we had a free signed autographed Jerome Williams practice jersey for the trivia earlier this summer that was won by G. G has got that jersey already. So we gave that away a couple months ago, but now we have a bootleg Vince Carter bobblehead for season 2 of Raptor Freak Trivia. This is the grand prize. So if you win the trivia all year, you'll get this knockoff Vince Carter bobblehead that looks like Shaq. And so if you're looking for a freebie, that's my opinion. There you go. You got to, but you got to show up and play. Monique saying, Lex, I noticed you changed your thumbnail for today real quick last night. I did. I sometimes I call a play in the middle. I was gonna do something on the Pro-Am, and in fact, I want to talk about it right now. This is really cool and interesting. I just realized this a couple days ago that we're going to have our own Pro-Am game here in Toronto, August the 20th at the Maple Leaf Gardens. That the stuff they're doing in Seattle where Malachi dropped 73 points, it's the same organizers. The people that did that are going to have one here in Toronto for us to go to, and it will have NBA players in it and amateurs. It's a Pro-Am. It's the Toronto Pro-Am, August the 20th, and Malachi Flynn is already confirmed to be playing in it. So Malachi's getting every single run he can find this summer, and that's really, really smart. Really, really smart because he's doing really well. He's gone to crossover in Seattle and dropped 73. He's gone to Drew League. He's dropped 53 there. And now he's playing at Rico Hines this week with his teammates, getting in good run. He has a nice highlight from last night. And he's committed to play at the Toronto Pro-Am August the 20th here at Maple Leaf Gardens. I think it's like $30 a ticket. There's only 900 seats. So if you want to go to that, you better get in tickets right now. And I highly encourage it. I think it'll be a lot of fun because you'll see NBA players from different teams. You probably see some of the similar players that have been at the Seattle Pro-Am and stuff like that. I don't know if we'll see people like Chet Holmgren or stuff like that, but they have played at this stuff. We'll probably see Jamal Crawford and stuff like that. But yeah, I changed it up last night because the Rico Hines footage that came out last night was just so much the main news for today. It just really is. Like, it was just, honestly, Monique, you probably had a similar experience to me when you were watching the Rico Hines stuff and you're like, wait, that's another Raptor there. Wait, you're finding all these Raptors in the footage. You're like, how many of the Raptors are actually at Rico Hines right now? And I figured it out. I think there's 9 or 10 of them. I think Gabe Brown is there too, and we got to count him now because he's on the team officially this morning. So 10 out of the 20 rostered players for the Raptors are at Rico Hines right now. It's crazy. G saying NBA actually ranked Raptors as 5th seed. That's for the East, though, not for the whole NBA. That's just for the East. They actually gave us some respect this year. They think we're going to be a playoff team. Hey. They learned. David S. is saying 62-20 this year. 62-20. You're talking about, I'm not sure what you're talking about, David. You got to elaborate sometimes. Like, I know it's a little bit over, but all right, let's see. Speaking of drawings, did you see the Raptors at work? Artwork. Sir Precious is loving it. Okay, I want to bring this up. This is interesting what G brought up. This is something I was going to talk about today. There's an art exhibit here in Toronto that I want to do justice real quick. It's called Dismantle Evening. It's put on by Toronto History Museums by the City of Toronto. And I'll read the post on Instagram real quick. Welcome to Mrs. Pipkin's Manor. Dismantle is an art exhibit inspired by the efforts of Black abolitionists reimagine Spadina Museum using an Afrofuturism narrative. Register for free tickets to Dismantle Evening, Mrs. Pipkin's Manor. Special opening ceremony and visual decorative performing and culinary arts with interactive installations and experience. That's August the 5th and 6th at Spadina Museum, 6 to 10 p.m. That's something art, cultural that you can come check out. I like the idea of this. They're taking a historic old building in downtown Toronto, the Spadina Museum, and they've converted it into an idea. I don't know how many people are familiar with the whole movement of Afrofuturism. It's very much linked to like Black Panther. It's like a whole idea of the future, and it's productive and like very futuristic with African cultures and stuff like that. And what they did was really interesting. They did some paintings that are like kind of like the ones from Park and Recreation that they have in the little thing, but like the artists did a old school like style, like a style from a couple hundred years ago, but they did Raptors today in the portraits. Like there's a picture of Delano and there's a picture of Precious, and they're wearing like old clothes that would have been like from the 1700s or something like that, and it's very throwback. And Precious found them and he was reposting them on his Instagram, and he was like really into them. He thought they were fire. Like the pictures are pretty fire. Like that one painting of Delano, he looks older than he is now, but it's kind of interesting. It's kind of like what would they look like if they lived at that time period and stuff like that. And there's one picture that's really kind of weird. There's a picture of Precious and Fred going to help Pascal up, and they're lifting him up. And Precious posted it yesterday on Instagram. And he says, "Yes, come to your Lord, and I will save you," or something like that. He said something silly, like he was acting like he was Jesus, and he's helping Pascal up. It was all jokes. He wasn't trying to offend anybody, and I thought it was hilarious myself. But I'm very intrigued by this art exhibit in Toronto at the Spadina Museum on the 5th and 6th in the evening. It's free, y'all. If you're in Toronto and you want to get some culture and have some fun on the weekend, go see this because there's a Raptors connection to it. I'm very curious to see if there's more of these pieces. I saw at least 3 art pieces that were Raptors related, and I'd like to see some of the other ones just to see how they are and stuff like that. Things like that. All right, let me keep going. Yeah, I think it's a really cool the art. Like, isn't it cool? It's really cool. Like, and it's kind of cool with their hairstyles, how they fit with that time also. Alistair saying 6750. I don't know what you guys are talking about with the numbers. I'm off on that. Okay, that's my opinion. Saying, okay, that's okay. You could always do a free drawing for that reserved parking Raptors plaque behind you. I'm a big Raptors fan. I really like that. That plaque was given to me by KK from Ajisen Ramen. I'll just do a real quick ad for you guys. If you love ramen, you want good ramen in Toronto, go to Ajisen Ramen, Spadina Street, right north of Dundas and south of College. Go there and say you know the Raptorsfreak, Alexios, and KK will say, "Oh, you know Alex. I love Alex. I used to eat her all the time when he lived near us." But he gave me that for Christmas one year. He said, "Alex, I know you love the Raptors so much." I was sitting there eating my pork ramen. So good pork ramen at Ajisen. And he's like, "Alex, Merry Christmas." And he laid that in front of me, that sign. I was thinking about putting it out in front of my house, but I think City of Toronto might get mad. And in fact, right where I live, the cops like to sit out front of my house because there's speeders on my street, and they'll come flying down the street. So a cop might be sitting out in front of my house just watching, get people slow down. And I could put that sign out where they park, and maybe I'll go and ask them. I'll say, "You guys Raptor fans?" "Yeah, we're Raptor fans." "All right, you can have your speed trap." Oh, that would be great. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's my opinion. Thanks for being here. And I appreciate more Raptor fans finding this channel and having fun with us and becoming part of the community and stuff like that. Alistair saying Rico flew the team out, casually scrimmaging the beard. Alistair, I love it. Yeah, I don't know if he had anything to do with that. I think it's this kind of thing where, like, look, some of these guys were trying to get a leg up and an edge any kind of way they can in the Raptors organization. Jeff Doughton and Ron Harper are already in. They're two ways. They're set. They're fine. They're going to be on this team this year, unless something weird happens and we waive them or something right before. But they're pretty set. But look, the commitment of those two young men as the two-way players are showing up to get that early development time. They could easily be anywhere and do whatever. This is not mandatory that all of these Raptors are at Rico Hines this week. This is a really big deal. And it's kind of like a little bit like, this is early work for the Raptors synergy in their core to get better together. I mean, it doesn't hurt that Jeff Doughton Jr. is getting familiar with his new teammates in California this week. So, yeah, and Alistair's also saying Pascal wearing the arm sleeve now too. Well, we'll see if it carries over to the season. Sometimes Pascal has different looks in Rico Hines. Like there was the do-rag summer where he wears a do-rag usually during his summer workouts and stuff like that. And there's actually been a little bit of buzz talk about maybe making the do-rag allowed to be worn in playing in regular games. That maybe they should allow people to wear that because it could be helpful or whatever with different things with hair or whatever and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really interesting stuff. All right, let's see. Ken A's saying that artwork is nice. Isn't it nice? It's cool. And I always love anything with the Raptors that's creative, whether it's Drake Cereal with her awesome art, whether it's Casey Bannerman. Well, there's so many creative people in the Raptors fan base that make such amazing stuff that it has just looked so cool and stuff like that. And I'm glad that a lot of these people like Drake Serial and Casey Bannerman get a connection to the actual players. Like Fred is working with Casey Bannerman and making all kinds of cool jackets and shoes and all kinds of stuff. It's just really cool to have the connection of art in our community with the Raptors and the Raptor stuff. And people love cool Raptors art. That's why that apartment with the mural of the shot went for so much higher asking price, because there's a picture of Kawhi sitting there after he shot the bounce shot. It's awesome. Let's see. CC saying the portrait of Malachi is cool too. I haven't seen that one. All right, I'm gonna have to find that one. CC's seen one of the art pieces that I have not seen and stuff like that. All right, let's see what Monique's saying. It's almost like Global Jam, but super different pro-am, that is. This isn't going to be like Global Jam at all, Monique. This is going to be like Drew League. This is going to be like crossover Crawford's pro-am in Seattle. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be a kind of thing where these pros and amateurs show up and they do battle in the Maple Leaf Gardens. I'm going to always call it Maple Leaf Gardens. I don't give a shit if they have it Metheny, whatever they're calling it right now. I'm calling it Maple Leaf Gardens because everybody knows where that is in town. If I said, oh, it's at Metheny, whatever, then people would be like, where's that? What is that place? Just fucking say it's Maple Leaf Gardens. That's where they're playing. But yeah, this is going to be, it's going to be different. Global Jam was teams from around the world in a tournament. And this is just basically a pro-am games and stuff. I think it's just one game. It'll be that one day. But it's like a tour. They're going from different cities to city. And I just like that Toronto's got a pro-am. I know we've had one for a couple years now, but I've never really paid attention to it or thought it was very important. But for some reason, the pro-ams are getting more of a spotlight this year when different people like Malachi dropping huge numbers. And, it's really cool that he's going to come here. And, like, who knows? How many points do y'all think Malachi will get at the Toronto Pro-Am on August the 20th? Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. We'll have to see. Maybe that's something I don't want to give it away. I'm going to try and figure out what I'm going to do for tomorrow. Let's see. Yeah, Monique thinks the artwork is spot on. G said, I love it. Very unique artwork and beautifully done too. Beautifully done. Nice infusion of the present with the past and just a really cool kind of art concept. And I love these kind of exhibits that are just kind of really creative and kind of just like make you really imagine and think about the passage of time and different eras and different ways and things and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that will really bring that out in people and like inspire people to think and be creative, is seeing stuff like that. So Granny Evelyn's here. Where is that ramen house again? You want to go see KK at Ajisen Ramen? It's on Spadina Avenue, just north of Dundes. And south of College. It's in Chinatown on Spadina Street, just right near what is it? The place that Roll Sand that Serge Ibaka loves. Roll Sand. He loves to go there to get the chicken fried rice. But it's across the street from Roll Sand. And you'll see it because you'll know it because there's a statue of a girl holding a big bowl of ramen on the sidewalk. That's where you know you're at the right place. And the manager, the guy who runs the place, his name's KK. He's a good friend of mine. So yeah, there you go. That's where it is. G saying, imagine being new to the organization and assistant coaches Rico Hines doing runs with superstars. So great for the organization. Yeah, that's Gabe Brown showing up. If he's actually there, I mean, forget about it. If it's Jeff Doughton, Ron Harper Jr., yeah, you're getting thrown to the fire. But listen, at least you're getting all the best training and weapons around you and stuff like that. Like, oh, man, like Scotty looks so good. Like he looks OP, like dominant. Like in some ways, like there's some things about Scotty that are going to be very dominant this year that we didn't realize that there's going to happen. And I think Pascal's going to be right there with him as being dominant also. So it's going to be very, very fun year. And I love, we want more highlights. Can we just get a live stream hooked up? Come on, y'all. Just put a little webcam camera in the corner and just let us vicariously watch these dudes on the court at Rico Hines. I don't know. Is there some sort of proprietary reason why you can't do this? Just let us see what's happening. You don't realize how much people would really watch Rico Hines live stream right now. They don't just want 45-second clips. We want to be able to watch them have a whole game and watch the whole thing. I'm spoiled with Scotty's Twitch is what it is. I'm saying right now. G saying, imagine. Okay, I just read that one. Evelyn saying, we'll celebrate my birthday this Sunday, the 7th. So I guess that ramen house is a nice place. It's great. Like, honestly, there's a lot of good ramen places in Toronto, but to me, Addison Ramen is just the best ramen in town. They have such friendly, courteous service. And like I said, like it's just a fun place. It's very clean and nice inside and has a very like positive, peaceful, beautiful feeling inside. So if you go there and eat inside, you will enjoy the experience very much. That's what I'll tell you, Evelyn. So check it out. They have other locations. If that is not really that easy for you, I think they have a location in Markham. They have a location in Vaughan. So they have other Addison Ramens around Toronto. So if you can't get to the one at Spadina where KK works, you could go to another Addison. You get a pretty good experience also there, but you won't get that KK experience for sure and stuff like that. G saying the Malachi one is great. I'm really going to have to look at the Malachi one and see what it looks like. Monique saying news and notes. Did anyone see Kendrick Perkins' thoughts on the play-in? He absolutely loves it. Check it out. On the play-in tournament, I love it too. I agree with him. I think that the play-in tournament's huge success and that they should continue to do stuff like that, like tinker with little things around the schedule to make it more competitive and interesting and improve the season. What they did with the play-in is they made the end of the season matter. The last month of the NBA season sometimes doesn't matter. Teams will tank on purpose. Teams will do weird things to manipulate where they sit in the rankings in the playoffs for matchups and stuff like that. Well, this kind of stops that because more of the teams are not out of it. They're playing for something late. And there's a lot of different kind of little races to win. We look at what we went through this last season. We wanted to avoid the play-in. And that made us have put some fire under our feet to get out of there and be able to have a real playoff spot. So I like it. I think the plan's a huge success. It's a really brilliant idea, and it's worked really well. So there's all kinds of different things about it that are awesome. That's my opinion. Saying, what time are you doing the drawing for the signed Vince Carter bobblehead? It's not signed, and it's not going to be won until next July. Not until somebody wins another NBA championship. The Raptorsfreak trivia season runs with the NBA season. So we're in preseason for that. We are already playing trivia every Tuesday. So you got to get points and accumulate them over the whole year. And then whoever has the most points when we crown the next NBA champion, they will get that bobblehead. So there's a little bit of a schedule to this. There's no drawings weekly here. There's no drawings once a month. There's a draw, and there's not even a drawing. It's once a year. Somebody who wins at trivia gets a goodie from my Raptors stash of good stuff and stuff like that. Let's see. Jan saying, where is OG in all this? We don't hear anything about his training. Well, that's his option. I'm sure OG's doing exactly what all these guys are doing also, as far as working really hard, improving his game, staying in top shape, maybe adding more muscle, maybe really working on like some sort of personal skill that he really wants to work on. I know his threes are really good already. Of course, he could always practice them, but maybe he's working on footwork this summer. Maybe he's working on where he gets the ball in the low post and how to be more efficient scoring in the low post when he has a smaller defender on him. He's already good at it, but there could be some footwork work that's going on with OG. That's what I would guess. That if there's a weakness that OG could really get better at in the NBA, it's his footwork. That sometimes he seems to put his foot in the wrong place and it looks clumsy, or he dribbles the ball off his foot, or, just there's a couple of things that he does with his back to the basket that if he could just clean up and change just slightly, he would be better and have less turnovers and maybe see the court better. So that's the kind of stuff I'm wondering what he's doing and stuff like that. But who knows where he is? He's a very private person. In fact, I like that he's kind of on total deep level submarine status this summer. That's OG not being out there and getting a break from the whole spotlight and the press and everything is actually really good for him. And that'll make it easier for him to weather the regular season when it starts and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know where he is. And in a lot of ways, I don't want to know. I know he's okay. And if this is just like every other offseason, he's going to come back. He's look badass and he's going to be good. It's just we need to trust in OG instead of trusting Messiah this time. Yeah, nobody knows where he is. We haven't seen a peep from him. Nothing on social media, no appearances at any events or anything like that. And some people would look at that from the outside and be like, "Whoa, man, he must not be good with the Raptors right now. This is what's going on," stuff like that. No, that's not what this is. This is normal how OG spends his off season. He goes and just falls off a cliff. We don't know where he is. This is very normal. This is a normal off season for him. David's got the cup. Tom's got the wrench to the knees. You guys are awesome. All right, so just going over the news of the day just real quick. Right before I came on live, the Raptors signed Gabe Brown from Michigan State, 4-year college player, was in the Oklahoma City Summer League roster, got cut, and now we've picked him up, and he's our 20th guy. We have a full 20 again, and now we have to go look and see who's going to make the team or not. Now, the difference with Gabe Brown is he's on an Exhibit 10, which lines him up more to be on 905. If he absolutely kills it in training camp and our preseason games, he has an outside shot to make the main roster, but I don't think it's very likely. Like, honestly, we've got a lot of guys that aren't going to, there's a couple guys that aren't going to make it, and he's probably one of them out of those 20. But the thing is, signing him to an Exhibit 10 sets him up to be able to be on Raptors 905 for the season this year. And that maybe in the future, this man could become a main roster Raptor in the years to come and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's really cool that we got a new player this morning. He's 6'8". He's got a good wingspan. He fits our mold. And he's a small forward. They're saying he's a small forward. I wish his rebound numbers were a little bit better and stuff like that. But that's that. Tom Duke saying Aaron Baines looking to revive his career. Just signed with the Brisbane Bullets. Congratulations to Aaron Baines. I really like that piece of art that he posted of him walking back to Australia with the things behind him. We see a dinosaur in the shadows behind. This is what he wants to do. He wants to put some things behind him. And the Raptors Tampa season is one of them. But yeah, really cool artwork once again of Aaron Baines walking back to Australia. The picture, if you go look at his Twitter, you'll see it. It's a really cool picture and stuff like that. So let's see. Yeah. He signed about a week ago, but he's officially there now. Good morning to Sue. Everybody's saying good morning to Sue. Monique's saying OG is like young Kawhi. He's very quiet. Yeah. That's a pretty good, accurate description. In fact, we may look at it this way. Like Kawhi was on our team when OG was a very young player on our team, a second-year player. And so maybe there was some rubbing off on how Kawhi operated on OG. And that's part of it and stuff like that. So Gabe Brown, welcome to the Raptors. We hope you do great. We'll see you in some level, whether it's 905 or on the main roster, probably more likely 905. And thank you, Blake Murphy, for breaking that news. You're the only one who did. Nobody else is even on it. Nobody's on it. No Woj, no Shams, no Lewinberg, no Michael Grange. It's Blake Murphy breaking the news about Gabe Brown. Like the Raptors dropped it right before. The Raptors dropped it before anybody knew. Nobody knew that it happened. Stuff like that. So I'm just looking at the highlight of Pascal doing the spin move on Buddy here at Rico Hines again. It's so cool that they're all there. Like, I cannot understate this. That it just warmed my heart so much last night. Like yesterday I had kind of a day, but to finish the day watching Rico Hines highlights with all those Raptors there and knowing that the coach, the guy who's there, is going to be coming with us this season and going to be around, and his expertise will be on hand for any kind of moment during the season, situational or whatever. It's true. We got to see how Rico Hines and his edge, what it brings to the team. Like, he's going to be this dude that we see on the side of the sideline, like just going off, like within the huddle, like, y'all need to do this and get your heads out of your asses and all this stuff. I want to see that. It'd be really interesting. That's my opinion. Saying I won a drawing tournament winner before, but it wasn't for Raptors memorabilia. This will be my first time. Very confident. Well, listen, you don't win on this channel unless you earn it. This is the thing. I'm not just giving out Raptors stuff to people randomly and stuff like that. I'm giving it to people that earn it by showing their great Raptors knowledge over a long period of time. You can ask David S. This is going to be a haul. G won. He's the champion right now. G won it last year. And you can tell how much time and work went into winning the Raptorfreak Trivia Championship. It's not easy. It's a long haul. It goes over months. And you don't even know when the trivia games are going to be sometimes. Now, some people know when they're going to happen because there is a pattern to how I do them. But it just takes a little while. You're gonna have to figure it out. So Monique's saying, so you weren't on Twitch yesterday, Lex? Then no, there were no Twitch streams yesterday. Scotty's not been on while he's been in California. He's not been on. Has he been? If he's been, I didn't see it, but I know I get a notification when he goes on. I don't think he's been on. He's too busy in California. Like, one of the things about Scotty getting on Twitch is he likes to do it through his computer now. And his computer's at his apartment here in Canada, in Toronto. So he's more likely to Twitch if he's in Toronto or in Miami. And now if he's down in Palm Beach, he'll Twitch on his PlayStation. He's done that. And he'll travel with the PlayStation. He might have it out in California. But I'm going to tell you right now, Monique, I'll bet you first of all, he's got to deal with the time change, the jet lag. Second, it was his birthday on Monday, so he probably partied a lot. Or not that he got drunk or anything, but he went out and had a good time with his friends. And then he's been working super hard. I'm going to guess these Rico Hines runs are very, very tiring, and they're a pretty good workout. So I don't think that, and plus he's in California. He could be that he gets done with the workouts and he's going to do really cool things and see like cool stuff around LA. So I don't think he'll be on Twitch while he's in California. And that's probably going to be at least until next week, because I know he's in California until the 6th at least. So he may not, until Rico Hines is done, I don't think we'll see him on Twitch. So let's see. That's my opinion. How many points am I behind? And if that's a lot, I can do some extra credit ones. Maybe. That's my opinion, man. Wow, you come in with a really good debut stream. I like it. David S has 1,000 points in Raptorsfreak trivia right now. You get 25 points for each question you get right. He's got 1,000 points already. Let's just put it that way. 1,050 to be exact. And G is second. He's got like 500 something. Yeah, so that's how far you're behind right now. And it's going to be like David's going to have to miss some games, and you're going to really have to dominate, because he really wants to win this. You got to understand, this is the dude who's already coveting winning this bobblehead, and you're just in Johnny come lately. We don't know if you can get on the train and get ahead of him, because we started the new season when the Warriors won, and we've done it every Tuesday since. So let's see. Joseph Starks is saying Rico is on the player development team like the big cat Jamal McGlure. He'll be in a suit sitting behind the coaches, and no, Scotty has not been on. Yeah, that's what I figured. Joseph's on there also. He monitors Scotty on Twitch just like I do, and he shows up there too. Yeah, okay. So I think that is a good distinction to make, that he won't be one of the bench coaches, that he may be like Jamal McGlure. Like, I don't think Jamal McGlure's back with us this season. He might be. I might be wrong, but he took a new job with CBL as like their commissioner or something. So I think, or something like that. So he may be busy and not, I don't know. I don't know what Jamal McGlure's role with the Raptors is going to be next season. He could be just a community person and not on the bench. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. Don't short me. Yeah, I won't short you, David. I did add the 50 afterwards. I said I rounded it just to give him an idea. Monique saying, credit Brian Macon for Scotty workouts. There's a few people that Scotty's worked out with this summer, different people. He's gone and worked out with a lot of different people in different places. He worked out in Montreal when he was there for that festival that weekend. He worked out with somebody there. I know he's gone down to Miami and he's run with some of the old people that he used to run with there and the stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of different people he's been working out with. Have to look up Brian Macon though. Sue's saying, I heard Scotty is up 10 pounds of muscle and is listed at 6'10" now. Impressive. This is what we were saying last year, Sue, that our young Scotty Barnes rookie, he can still grow. He can still get bigger and stronger and taller, and it's happening. It's just happening. It's just how it works, you know. You feed the guy right, he puts some muscle on from weights, and he's still sleeping and growing while he's sleeping, and boom, all of a sudden he's 7 foot and he's like 230 pounds of muscle. Look out. Wow, look out. Isaac Campbell saying Raptors play Boston, Montreal on October 14th. Man, that's too long to wait. They play before that. I know that they play on the 9th against the Bulls in Chicago. I am so ready for them to just drop the schedule. What are you doing, NBA? Give us something to salivate over. Give me something to plan my life around for the fall, because I plan my whole life around Raptor games. If there's a Raptor game going on that night, I know what I'm doing. I'm watching the Raptor game. So I need to know when I can schedule things in my life for this fall. So NBA, please drop the schedule on us. At least give us the preseason schedule. Come on, please. A crumb for a poor vagrant boy in the street. I don't know. I mean, please. All right, let's keep going. Happy Wednesday to Shane Waters. Dap. Wow. Let's see. That's my opinion. Saying, do you think this David guy might be using Google for the answers? I'm not trying to start a conspiracy or anything. Well, listen, this is the thing. That's my opinion. I can't police this. How am I supposed to stop people from cheating? It's an open book test. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He can go and use Google. It's perfectly fine. All right. You know what you need to do? That's my opinion. Go into my Raptorsfreak archive and go watch some of the episodes of the trivia. Like we did Chris Bosch this week. Go ahead and watch the Tuesday episode from yesterday and see how I run a trivia game. And you'll understand more about what it's all about. And that may be smart for you anyway, just to do some scouting. If you are going to enter the fray and try and get this Vince Carter bobblehead, you need to know what you're up against. So watch the stream from yesterday, and that will inform you a lot about what we're doing and stuff like that. So Sue's saying hi to Shane. Tom Duke is ba-bam. I don't know if you guys have been hanging out. That's cool. David's saying, if you heard some of the questions, you would be using Google too. Yeah, you got to. I mean, I made it really hard. If you absolutely really know the Raptors, maybe you know a lot of the stuff, but oh my gosh, this stuff is not stuff that most Raptor fans know off the top of their head. That you do need to do a little bit of research and stuff. Like David has been telling me he studies for trivia, like he crams for it, like it's a test. So that's what I'm saying. And it's helped him. He's gone and studied Raptors stats and different things about the Raptors just to be more prepared for trivia. So you better be committed and ready, opinion guy, because you're going to need that kind of gumption like David's showing so far. Yeah. Dap to Joseph Starks. Bam, bam. All right. David S. is saying, no way no one knows some of those things. It really is true, unless you really, really, really know stuff, especially the older Raptor stuff. Like I'm going to be asking questions about Willie Anderson. Do you know who Willie Anderson is? Like, who is Willie Anderson? That might even just be a question. Who is Willie Anderson? Can you tell me who Willie Anderson is? That's that kind of stuff. Shane's saying, hi, Sue. I got my rap swag pulled out for our hookup tonight, Tom. Awesome. I love hearing that Tom and Shane are going to be hanging out in British Columbia. Raptor-Freak Cult Unite. Bam. West Coast. Bam. In effect. Bam. Get that tea cups. Tea. I don't know what you guys are going to be sipping tonight. It's none of my business. You guys go out and have a good time. But in the morning, get that tea. Drink the tea by the window. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. David's saying, yeah, I study and prepare. He really does study and prepare. Yeah. Tom, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys are meeting up. Hopefully this can start a great friendship. Like this will be so crazy. Like, I don't know what I'm started with this channel. Who knows what can spurn from this? The butterfly effect of a man who started a Raptor-Freak channel on YouTube. Who knows what could happen? Oh my gosh. Maybe good things will come from this in all kinds of ways. Let's see. Tom Duke saying, in my opinion, come help me take David out. Let's go. You will catch me easy though. Tom, you won the trivia this week. You got the most answers right. And you got the most points this week. So, Tom, you are a real competitor in this. So I put you in there. Okay, that's my opinion saying, do you think since he uses Google for the answers and I'm doing it with my brain, maybe I should get 100 points for each question? Well, I don't know if you're doing it with your brain for sure. And I just assume everybody's cheating. So it's all a level playing field. And they're not really cheating. A lot of them do go off the top of their head. It's just some of the questions are little in depth. Like, yesterday I asked, what 2 major TV shows did Chris Bosch appear on? These are like top 200 television shows of all time. What 2 television shows did Chris Bosch appear on? Top 2 all time, like 2 shows, top 200 all time, not obscure shows. Now, would you know what TV shows Chris Bosch has been on in his life? That's the thing. If you know that, then you will really know the information. You'll do well. Let's see. Yeah, it's a long season, a very long season. It's only it's barely August. We're not going to crown a champion for this until July of next year. So you got 12 months, baby. 12 months. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, David's saying, but I use my brain for some of the answers. There's different levels. Some of them are really easy. Some of them are harder. And some of them are super hard. and stuff like that. And like David's also saying, and trust me, you won't get half of these questions without looking them up, unless you really are a crazy encyclopedia of knowledge. Monique's saying, same, Lex, because interviewing games can be confusing, but family and I make it work regardless of the season schedule. That's right. See, Monique needs a schedule also because, like, it's very important to her that she sees all the Raptor games. And it's very important to me that she sees all the Raptor games so I can read her write up at the end of the game. So that's what I'm saying, Adam Silver. Drop the schedule for us so we can plan our lives. We need to figure out our lives, okay? Stuff like that. David's saying, Tom, don't fuck with me, man. Okay, wow. Things have taken a turn in the chat. And I see a wrench. Both of you guys have wrenches. There's not going to be any wrench fighting here. None of that. Sue's saying, Raps have preseason game October 2nd in Edmonton for our Alberta friends. Okay, dropping news on us. I hadn't heard this yet. Thank you, Sue. Breaking news. The Raptors are going to be playing on October the 2nd in the preseason in Edmonton, y'all. So all you Albertians that want to see some Raptors basketball, we're coming. October the 2nd. I don't know where we're playing. We don't know that. Sue hasn't told me that, but at least we have a preseason game there. That makes sense. Okay, so we're going to Edmonton for preseason this year. Montreal and Edmonton, because we have one in Montreal and we have one in Edmonton. That's good. Spread them out and do a little traveling too. That's my opinion, saying maybe we can have a judge just to make sure this David isn't pulling a fast one on competition. Like Barry Bonds with steroids. Yeah, I do know about Barry Bonds and steroids. Oh, I'm going to tell you this right here. That's my opinion. I am the judge. I'm the guy who's in charge of figuring out what is fair and all this kind of stuff. It's not totally an easy game to play. I'm just going to say that. We've had different things that aren't fair. Some players play from further away and their internet connection slows them down. And it's really a time thing. Whoever types in the answer first gets the answer. So if you are on a delay or you have a bad internet connection, like dial up, you might be at a disadvantage. I can't help that. So it's like, how am I supposed to make that easier in any kind of way? That's just how it is. And as I was telling Monique the other day, Monique, I think that what you should do is you should answer the questions and keep track of how many of them you got before the answer got revealed. And then tell us the score that you got at the end of it. I think that this may be a fun alternative to help you get, do it. Because I know that a lot of these answers, and it's just you're not getting in before them. And, I think that if we do it that way, I could say at the end of the game, all right, Monique, how many did you get out of the answers? And we can keep your score alongside with things too. Because it is true. People have different advantages and disadvantages in this game. And I want to make it a level playing field as much as possible. But I'm limited with how much I can in certain ways and stuff like that. So Raymond Jacob is here, and he has something to say about this because he's involved in all this also. And in fact, that's my opinion. Or, you're kind of playing Raymond Jacobs' role of being a trickster right now. Let's just put that. All right, David, I think you only have to look for Sunny Mahal. Oh, he's saying, I think you only have to look out for Sunny Mahal. I think she knows even more than G, and G's not even playing for real this season unless G is Mahal. That's my theory. Wow. See, Raymond Jacob with some trickster weirdness about thinking that two different people that are on the stream are actually the same person. No, Sonny's a different person. Sonny found the Raptorfreak channel through Scotty's Twitch. I put the ad up in there and Sonny came and checked it out. That's how we got Sonny in here. Sonny's great. Sonny is a new player. This isn't the same Sonny or CC from last year, though. I have to say that, though. Sunny Mahal, who's playing in the trivia. And there's another Sonny that is actually, they're different people. But yeah, G's going to be back. G will be playing when the season starts. It's just this summer G cannot play trivia, and he's giving y'all a cushion. He's the champion. G's a champion. He's the one you don't want to mess with because he's the one who can rise up. And David knows this. That's why David's trying to get a good cushion now because G will come back and he will show up and he will be a force. Trust me. It's going to be like Michael Jordan when he retired and he comes back. He's like, oh, shit, Michael's back. Oh, damn it. But I think Raymond's right. He thinks Sonny's a good competition. But don't discount yourself, Raymond Jacob. You're consistent, and you did really well last year. And you were the one that was fighting with G for the championship at the end of the year. So don't. He's trying to downplay his own self because Raymond Jacob is a contender too. Tom Duke saying David might be juicing. What? Any of these allegations? Actually, I encourage this. If you're juicing, David, go ahead, do it. I juice myself. I get a bunch of apples and strawberries and some blueberries and just whatever vegetables, maybe some kale, maybe some celery, some cucumber, and I juice it all together. And it helps me look younger for 46 is if you juice regularly. So I highly encourage David juicing, Tom Duke. Don't be against juicing. Juicing's good. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Good morning, Mr. Jacob, Mr. Raymond Jacob. All right, let's see. David's laughing out loud. Sue saying, playing at Rogers Place, Edmonton, October the 2nd. That's right. Right, Sue? October the 2nd. We are in Edmonton at Rogers Place. Shane Waters is laughing at Raymond. David S. is saying, that's my opinion, must be a Brooklyn fan. I don't care what fan he is. He's fun. I think he is a Raptors fan because he really is interested in my Raptors swag. So I think he's just playful, and maybe he gets the vibe of the channel is just a little not totally serious. So hey, it's fine. We go with it. It's all good. Let's see. Raymond saying, I even tried Googling Willie Anderson when Lex mentioned it. Google didn't help. I didn't find any Willie. You spelled it wrong. That's why. It's not W-I-L-L-Y. It's W-I-L-L-I-E, Willie Anderson. That's right. Former San Antonio Spur, Willie Anderson. Brother or cousin of Shandon Anderson, who played for the late Jazz, Shandon Anderson or something like that. Yeah. Willie Anderson is an original Raptor. He was on the first Raptor team the first year. Let's see. David S. saying, yeah, Sonny smoked me 1 week for sure. Yeah, Sonny's a competitor, but Sonny hasn't been showing up consistently. They're not here. That's the thing. You got to have the combination of knowing your stuff and showing up. Half of it is showing up. Exactly what they always say. Half of winning is showing up. And that's very true with this. Let's see. That's my opinion. Saying, I mean, maybe we could get a judge that lives close by to stop in on David, just so everything's on the up and up. I know it will be time consuming, but we want to keep things on level playing field. I think we did okay with that last season. I think we're doing fine with this. I don't think we need to make any visits, like hospitality visits on anybody about how they're playing the game. That's pretty funny. I think that David does live in Toronto. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to go over to his house and check how he's doing this. How would I do that while I'm doing the live stream? There's so many loopholes and things that would not be able to be fixed in this reasoning here and stuff like that. How would I go and deal with other people? Anyway, I don't need to keep talking about your craziness here. Monique saying, my CP plays a big role in the trivia. I don't use a special computer. Monique, what I was wondering was, like, are you able to do it voice or like, because I know it's the actual typing, right? You have to type real slow or something. Do you have anybody that you're around at that time that like you could tell the answer to and they could type it in for you? I've wondered that at different times. Like any kind of way we could help you have a more of a edge in competing in the trivia. Like whatever solution we can do. And like, once again, we have to remember that G is playing for Monique this year. So if G wins in the end, Monique gets the bobblehead is what's going on. G's already said this. So stuff like that. So, but yeah, whatever. Oh, you're saying your CP. Yeah. See, yeah, she has cerebral palsy. So it's tough for her to type it all out quickly. So, you know, like I said, I'd like you to go ahead and just keep track of the questions and how many of them that you got right on your own. And then I can ask you at the end and see, how did Monique do on the trivia for the week? And you can say, oh, I got 12 out of 17 right this week and stuff like that. And you can test, you know yourself. You can say, I knew this one. I didn't know this one and stuff like that. And just be honest about it. Because And like I said, it's not that I'll add it into the score or anything, but at least we can show that you do know your stuff and that you would be getting these also. But I think you competing and getting in there and getting some, because you got the Chris Bosh Cowboy question yesterday, and that was really good and stuff like that. And I know you know all this stuff, Monique. We don't even have to question your trivia knowledge of the Raptors. You know your stuff. I know you do. Raymond Jacobs saying vegetable juice, laughing my ass off. Vegetable juice, yeah, exactly. I think more people should be juicing out there. Like juicing is good for your body. It's good for your skin. It's good for you to get good vitamins, revitalize your body, maybe good digestion because it starts moving things through and stuff like that. What, are you guys talking about something else? I don't know what you're talking about. Sue's saying October 2nd versus Utah. Okay, so we're playing the Jazz, a dumpster fire. in Edmonton. We should kick their butt since they're rebuilding and tanking for Victor. Okay, whoa, Sue's got the whole schedule. October the 2nd versus Utah in Edmonton. October the 5th versus Boston in Boston. October the 7th versus Houston in Houston. October the 9th in Chicago and Toronto. And then October 14th in Boston in Montreal. Beautiful schedule. That's our schedule. We play Boston twice. Wow. Let's play the Celtics twice in preseason. It was like Philly last year. We played Philly twice in the preseason last year. And this year we're playing Boston twice in the preseason. Okay. That's my opinion. Saying I really think this Vince Carter limited edition bobblehead will look good in my room. Go Raptors. See, he's a real Raptor fan. I mean, no Brooklyn fan would say that. I'm like, wait, it is Vince Carter. Ah, and it is a fake Vince Carter. Ah. Anyway, okay. David S. saying, okay, that's my opinion. After I win, I will send it to you. I don't know. Let's see. Whatever. You guys figure it out. David's in Liberty Village. I could go check up on him. He is technically in an area that I could get to. But what is the point? Okay, Raymond Jacobs saying, I thought juicing means steroid. Of course it means steroids. I'm just trying to be innocent and wholesome on this channel and make it mean the other way and stuff like that. Monique saying off topic, but that Sean Bradley story is sad for me. Oh, wow. There's something new on Sean Bradley. Yeah, Sean Bradley is a very interesting NBA player and a very interesting career. He's an interesting dude. Like some things about Sean Bradley were really OP. Like he was an amazing shot blocker, obviously, and there were different things that he did earlier in his career that were really intriguing and that could have been something. But once again, he had nothing on him. He was all skin and bones. He could easily get hurt, and that's really what happened. And then later in life, that's what's happened. He had a really serious accident, and it's really affected him physically, and it's sad. Yeah, I have to watch it, Monique. I haven't seen it, but I've heard about what happened to Sean Bradley, and it's not a happy story and stuff like that. And it's too bad. I mean, when you're 7'6" and your arms are so skinny, like his arms are like probably as wide as mine, except he's like a foot taller than me. That's crazy. Like that, it's too bad. He's a good dude. And, he's had some awesome things happen to him in his career. He was in Space Jam and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, he's had good stuff in his life. He's had a charmed life, but he's also had a lot of misery and sadness too. It's too bad. That's my opinion saying I've been a huge Raptors fan since 2019. So how old will these questions be going back? They'll go back to the very beginning. Like it depends. Like we did Damon Stoudemire 2 weeks ago. We did Chris Bosh yesterday. Right now we're kind of doing specific players and doing like classic. They're called classic Jurassic Raptor Freak trivia because we're going classic and we're getting old, very old Raptor players and doing trivia about them for the day. So, and you don't know who it's going to be from week to week. It'll switch around. Let's see. David's saying most recent ones were from back late 90s, early 2000s. That's right. He's saying basically what I said. Maybe we should let Mo keep her own score on the honor system. She knows if she had it before we said it. I would do that, but I like the way it's going. And I want to make allowances for Monique and figure this out. But I like what G has said he would do. I think that's really awesome. I think that playing is fun. I think Monique enjoys the trivia day, even if it's frustrating to a degree. I think she enjoys just hearing the questions. And even, like I said, even if she doesn't type it in, if she's able to just say it or she knows it when the answer's asked, just keep track. And at the end of the game, we'll say out of the 17 questions, Monique, how many did you get this week? And we can say, all right, cool, and celebrate her doing that. But I think she's done well too. Like she scored points last season and she's gotten points this year already also. So I don't know how to deal with this completely and stuff like that. Yeah. Let's see. Monique's saying, guys, you don't want to paralyze. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means exactly with what it's pertaining to, whether it's with Sean Bradley or with talking about the trivia right now. Either way, we want to accommodate and make things more fun and stuff like that for Monique. And I think that is pretty fun, like for her. Like she did get a question this week, which is something. So a lot of people don't even get one question. This is not easy. People show up and try and play, and they don't get any questions because it's that hard and stuff like that. So I don't know. There's no simple answer to this. I think that like if we could try a couple different things, whether it's somebody who's there with Monique that can type it in for her really fast, she says it, and then because I do that for Adriana sometimes on her trivia because I'm a very fast typer and she's not as quick typing because her CP, because she has CP also. And so I'll type it in really quick for her on her trivia nights, just so that she gets it in there quickly as possible, stuff like that. Yeah, she's talking about Sean Bradley. Yeah, he's paralyzed now because it's a bike accident that he got into. He's riding his bike and somebody hit him or something happened and now he's paralyzed. And oh my gosh, him and Manute Bol, very similar kind of sad things late in their lives, as these really, really super tall NBA players from our history. Manute was 7'6", and so was Sean Bradley. They're both 7'6" guys, and they had really bad, horrible injuries from accidents. Like Manute was in a cab and the driver of the cab was drunk and had a DUI, and he crashed and he fractured Manute's legs in like a couple different places, and it just ruined his life afterwards. His quality of life after that wreck with the DUI with the cab driver, it was absolutely horrible after that. Bol's father, Manute. And then Sean with the bike accidents, really bad. That's my opinion, saying on the days, if anything outside of 2019 trivia, how about I get a 2019 season question? That's my favorite Raptor season. Well, that's a lot of people's favorite Raptor season. It's mine. It's on my hat. I mean, it's hilarious. G just came back, and no, I'm not Mahal, laughing my ass off. I can't play and can only go on streams in and out. And it's like, yeah, listen. That's my opinions here, being a conspiracy theorist and being a little prankster and kind of silly and funny. Raymond Jacob wanted to get his little bit in also, because that's kind of partly what his role is, in all this. If I have two of these guys now, I don't know what I'm going to do. Tom Duke saying crazy. I didn't know that about Manute. Life and health is precious. Yeah, Tom, isn't that sad? And the crazy thing about Manute at that time was he was destitute in his life. He didn't have any money. You know what he did? Manute Bol took all of his earnings from his NBA career and sent it all to Sudan. That's where he's from, the Sudan. And there's serious problems in Sudan, like economic problems, poverty problems, hunger problems. And he gave it all to his home country. He gave all of his money to his home country. So he didn't even have any money when this happened. And and this is the fucked up, horrible thing about the US. Their healthcare system messed Manute Bol up financially, that they couldn't take care of him. And what ended up happening was people like Charles Barkley and other players that played with him, teammates, raised money for him to help pay for him to be able to live after his accident, because his hospital bills were so crazy, and he gave all of his money to Sudan. He didn't keep any of his money. He didn't. He seriously didn't. Manute Bol gave every single bit of his NBA career fortune back to his home country to help them. And then he got hurt, and then he had nothing, and he was in a really bad place. And then Charles and a bunch of the other NBA players, his old teammates, came and they raised a whole bunch of money for him to help him in his last couple years of life. Yeah. So yeah, okay. G saying, I know, I like the chirping. See, there's a lot of, I like this. This is like last year. It was a head to head, G and Raymond Jacob. It was really that kind of a battle for a lot of the season last year. There were other people that kind of bounced in and out and did different. Tom Duke was active there the whole time and stuff like that. But it really was a G Raymond Jacob. But this is shaping up to become kind of some sort of weird fatal four-way with Sonny Mahal and Pete and David and Tom and Raymond. It's a battle royal at this point, especially if that's my opinion is going to get involved at this point, stuff like that. All right, Patrick Douglas is here with the question of the day. Who is Gabe Brown? Gabe Brown is the latest acquisition of the Toronto Raptors. We signed him to an Exhibit 10, which means he's probably going to end up being on our 905 this year, Patrick. He was a 4-year college player at Michigan State. He's a small forward. He's 6'8". He has the right wingspan for our team. I think he's a defensive oriented kind of player because his scoring isn't super high. And I'm not impressed with his rebounding numbers from Michigan State. Like he only averaged around 3.8 rebounds a game. For a guy like him with his frame, he should have been averaging more points. I mean, more rebounds. He got to the Final Four with Michigan State. So he has Final Four experience also in the tournament. So things like that. That's our newest Raptor. He's in our training camp roster. He's the new replacement for Armani. And he's likely to make the 905, but not the main roster. He'll be somebody that we probably send straight to the 905, especially because it's an Exhibit 10 that we signed him on, stuff like that. So Raymond Jacobs saying, I love any trivia, Lex. I just play for fun. I'm not in it for the prize, unless it was a cash prize. Well, I don't know how much this is Vince Carter bobblehead bootleg is worth. It could be like priceless because it may be only a few of them made ever in the whole world. There may not be very many of them. I have not appraised this. I'm stupid. I may be giving a fortune away. Like this could be worth like thousands of dollars. I don't even know. I don't care. I'm not doing it for the money. I actually hate Vince Carter. So I'm like, why do I have this? I hate it. That's why I'm giving it away. I wouldn't give away a Vince Carter bobblehead if I really liked it. Well, I wouldn't like it for the most part because I like real Raptor legends like DeMar DeRozan and Charles Oakley to be my bobbleheads. But yeah, there's a lot of different things. It's like a friend of mine, a really weird, random friend of mine, very strange man, like a 6'9" guy who looked like Kane, who I used to work with at a restaurant in downtown Toronto, gave me that bobblehead. And just out of the blue one day, we're like in the car and he's like, Lex, I have this thing. I think you'll want it. He looked like Kane. He seriously did. It looked like I was working with Kane at that time. The dude was like 6'9". He looked like a monster and he had the same face. He's like, Lex, I got this bobblehead. I don't know what to do with it. I don't like it. I don't want it. Here, you can have it. You're a Raptors fan. So he gave me this Vince Carter bobblehead. That's how I got it. It's just free. I don't know. I was like, okay, thanks. And I've had it for like about 8 years now, 6 or 7 years. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? So weird. I don't know. Let's see. Susan, now that we guaranteed Hernan Gomez's contract, who do you see making the final 15 roster? Sue, yeah. Hernan Gomez is in the same boat as Svi Mihalik now. Like, if we cut Hernan Gomez, we're going to have to pay him for the whole year anyway. So this really means that Bo Cruz is on our team this year, guys. We could do one of those two guys where we cut them and we get somebody new, but I don't think we're going to. Like, honestly, the way the Raptors are doing things right now, we really are settling into our core and who's going to be involved. And I think that it could be that Svi and him are still on the team and that we're cutting guys like DJ Wilson and Justin Champagnie at the end of the bench and Gabe Brown. So it's like if we have the 20 guys and we're cutting them this week, I say that we may be cutting Gabe Brown for sure, even though we signed him today. He'll get cut and he'll be on our 905. Justin, I'm pretty sure Justin's going to get cut this year. I know a lot of people are big fans of him. They want to figure out a way to get him on there, but I think he'll get cut. And now I feel like maybe DJ Wilson, but this is the thing. DJ Wilson's at Rico Hines. DJ Wilson's putting in a lot of work and effort, and he's showing that he really wants to be on our team. And we after all the stuff we went through with him last year as a replacement player, him getting jerked around with injuries and getting COVID at the wrong times, we really want to give him a good look. And that we wouldn't have kept him around and done all this stuff over and over again with him if we weren't going to. But it's weird. We got to figure this out. It's like we cut Brown and Champagnie. There's still one guy that's got to get cut. And it's either going to be DJ Wilson or Svi Mihalik is what I'll say at this point. It'll be one of those two guys. And then we're going to keep Hernan Gomez. And obviously we're going to sign Coloco, and we should sign Delano. Now, Delano's another weird question mark. It could be weird what happens with Delano. And we may not totally understand it. It'd be like we don't have Delano on the team anymore all of a sudden. That would be a little weird. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, there's kind of your answer there, Sue, as far as the way I see it at this point. That's my opinion. Saying now that I'm in, it's between me and David. Problem is I'm going to win like Kawhi on 2019. David has been getting softball questions. There's no softball questions. I'm going to tell you that there are a few. There's a mix. There's some of the questions early on are very easy. And then there's some really, really hard ones. And then there's some that are kind of hard. and stuff like that. So, hey, listen, you got to get in there. You're talking a lot of smack. You don't even have any points. You got to get on the board first. There's like 14 people that already have points, and you got to get on the board first. Then we'll see what's up. And that means Tuesday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, sharp. If you want to be serious about this, if you're serious, you've not acted very serious in the stream. That's my opinion. But I think you are serious about this to a degree. So I'm going to tell you, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bring your best game and see what happens. David will be here waiting for you. Trust me. Isaac is saying Gabe Brown is the very same height as Thad, Pascal, Precious, and Otto. It checks. It checks right there. Bobby Webster's son said, well, how tall is he? How long are his arms? Okay, let's sign him. That's what he's looking at right now. So yeah, Isaac's right. He fits the mold of what we're doing. He would not be out of the positionless scheme. And that's why I like him. Raymond Jacobs saying, that's my opinion. What did you think about the Raptors before 2019? Are you from Toronto? Yeah, let's do some investigating. I like what Raymond's doing here. Let's find out why and when did you become on the bandwagon and why? Were you a fan of another team before you were a fan of the Raptors and you just switched because you like winning? Are you like a Lakers Raptors fan that you were like a Lakers fan and then the Raptors won? And you're like, oh, now I like the Raptors for real. I always kind of liked them, but now they won. I can really like them. There's Laker fans in Toronto that are like that. They'll kind of look and see which one of those two teams have a better chance between the Lakers and the Raptors, and then they'll root for whichever one is doing better. So last year was Raptors for them. This year it's probably going to be Raptors again. Let's just say that about Lakers again. So let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Monique saying Raptors Basketball Academy is officially back. Justin Champagny, JYD were there. Yeah, there was some footage of Justin with the kids. And I like seeing that, especially after all this Sun stuff. Get away from that. Do more stuff like that, Justin. Do things that'll make me want to say, I want Justin Champagny on the Raptors team because he's so good. And he's like not sunning people, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, cool. It's cool. JYD's so awesome. All right, JYD had a really nice post on Sunday after Bill Russell died of him and Bill Russell from an event, talking about how much he had an impact on him. And I wrote in there on his comments, I wrote on JYD's post, everybody talks about Michael and LeBron, but they really should start with Bill Russell. That in reality, he is the true GOAT of all time. And there's a real argument for that. He has 11 championships and he won at every level and all this kind of stuff. And JYD liked my comment. I was like, yeah, JYD agrees with me. He thinks I'm right as far as Bill Russell's the GOAT. Forget about LeBron versus Michael. We should just be saying it's Bill Russell. It's that simple. We should just do that. And Magic has come out today saying that he thinks that Adam Silver should retire the number 6 across the whole entire NBA in honor of Bill Russell. And I agree with him. And if Magic Johnson's saying this, there's probably a good likelihood that this could happen, that it could be very similar to the MLB with Jackie Robinson. In some ways, I kind of wish they did it before he had died. Like, that would have made more sense. Like, why didn't you just do it before he died in some ways? But I can also understand, I don't know. They need to honor him, though, in a way that he will never be forgotten. And that is a good way to do it, is what I'll say. Patrick Douglas is saying, no, Vince was demonized, Alex, and that GM at the time was an idiot. The worst we ever had. There's truth in what you're saying, Patrick. But there's other stuff other than just the way he left. Other than the egregiousness of him admitting that he did not try hard when he played for the Raptors the last couple of years. Like, admitting it publicly, that makes me the maddest. Is that he could have dogged it and not tried for us and just not told anybody. But in a way, because he was so open about it, it was almost like he was bragging that, yeah, well, I didn't even try when I was playing for the Raptors the last couple of years. That's an asshole. That's somebody that's throwing salt in the wound. It's like, you could have just not tried. You didn't have to go and announce it to everyone, because what he did was he made us a laughing stock. So fuck Vince Carter. I'm sorry. You can love him and appreciate him for his dunks and who he was. I'm a Raptor freak. I'm all about the Raptors, and he did us wrong. Let's just put it that way. You can say about Rob Babcock and stuff like that, but fuck that. That reflected badly on him that he didn't try. It wasn't Rob Babcock that was telling him to not try. He could have just done what he was supposed to do, and, he would have looked good and got through it anyway, but he had to do it the flaky way. And then on top of all that, the other reason why I don't like him is because he's been in broadcasting and different things since his career's been over. And also during his career, he would jump in and say things that were anti-Toronto. He's not for us. He's a part of the Nets nation at this point. Fuck Vince Carter. He had all of his fame and glory here in Toronto, but he would tell you he's more of a Nets nation at this point. Just like we were saying yesterday, Bosch is more Heat nation at this point. Vince Carter is more Nets nation at this point. Sad to say it, but it's the damn truth. And that's why it's like, listen, I know a lot of people love him and care about him. I have a respect for his part in the Raptors history and what he did for us and what he did for Canada. And I really respect those things, but I don't respect him as a person. I don't respect him for what he did at the end of his Raptors career. And I don't respect him for how he slights the Raptors in the NBA media since. Like, he is one of those guys like Chris Broussard, like Jalen Rose, that's going around talking us down on the American side of the border on TV. So fuck Vince Carter. I'm sorry, man. I'll say it every day. David S. is saying, we cut Champagny? No, not yet. But we might. I don't think we will until closer to the season. But that's who I think we should cut. Like, seriously, I think we should. He's undersized. Like, we just got a dude that's the same position as him, that's taller than him, and probably can do a lot of the same things that he does. Let's see. That's my opinion. Saying, I know Vince Carter won the dunk competition. That was before 2019. How old are you? That's my opinion. That's the next thing I want to know. Scotty's asking everybody on his Twitch how old everybody is. All right, I want everybody to tell me how old everybody is in here. And like, everybody's like 20, 23, 32, 27, 16, 10. I'm like 46. Oh, you guys don't have to put your names in this chat. Please don't, unless you want to. You can if you want, just to be funny. Let's see. Alistair saying DJ Wilson is next up. I see him making it. It is really good faith that DJ Wilson's at Rico Hines right now and he's there. That's a really big deal. Like, seriously, DJ Wilson is very committed to doing things for us and being on our team. I've been watching his Instagram since he come back. We got him back on our roster, and he is really working hard this summer. And I really like what he did at Summer League in that second game with his offense. He was hitting threes, and he had some really nice offensive moves in the low post and in the high post. And he was scoring very well. I think that he needs a chance to really try and contribute to us. And nothing like last year. Last year was just not the proper kind of chance for him and stuff like that. Tom Duke saying, walk the walk. See you Tuesday. Yeah. All right. Tom Duke is talking shit too. He's like, all right, that's my opinion. Walk the walk and show up. Let's see. That's my opinion. Say, does David ever miss any streams? That would really improve my chances. This guy's figuring out like how he can Tanya Harding him maybe. Like, David, don't tell him where you live. If you're at Liberty Village and stuff like that, don't tell him where you live. He may be outside your house with some weird dude, Jeff Galecki or whatever his name was, with a pipe, and he might be trying to take your kneecaps out when you're coming outside to get the paper. So yeah, don't tell him where you live, because it sounds like he wants to stop your ability to get to the stream. Stuff like that. Okay. That's my opinion. Saying I was a Spurs Cavs fan, but now I'm a Raptors fan since 2019. I can respect. I'm a Spurs fan too. That's my West Coast team. I love the Spurs. I was a Spurs fan before the Raptors even existed. That was my team. I was a big David Robinson fan in the early 90s, the 90s and stuff like that. So yeah, okay. Cavs. Yeah, Spurs. Cool, and stuff like that. All right, let's see. David S. is saying, not during the weekdays. Sometimes I sleep in on the weekend. So, yeah, he's here. I could say pretty consistently. He is always here. So don't expect him to miss. He's not going to miss. Let's see. G saying, my JYD jersey is sweet. I'm glad you got it and you like it. And, it's such a weird, interesting item. I mean, it's Jerome's signature. It's a throwback. All kinds of good stuff. I think he knows that I gave that jersey away too for the trivia and stuff, that I had that jersey. He's kind of vicariously checking out stuff that I'm doing and stuff. I've noticed this, that Jerome is kind of, I think he checks some of my streams out sometimes. Let's see. G saying, but I kept the cards, which are fantastic. Awesome. Yeah, those cards. I gave him a bunch of my cards from my collection. And they're like, I gave him a Sam Mitchell rookie card. Stuff like Ron Harper Sr. card, Mitchell Wiggins, Andrew Wiggins' dad's card. I give him a Shaq, a Kenny Smith card, stuff like that. Yeah, there's cool cards in there. I got more cards. And in fact, I still want to do this, Monique. Like, if we do this meet and greet on my birthday on Friday, August the 26th, I want to bring cards to it, Monique, and you and I can do some card trading if we do this meet and greet that I'm talking about. Raptorsfreak channel meet and greet, August 26th, Friday, August 26th. We won't do a live stream that morning. In fact, we'll do a live stream at the meet and greet where I'll do something like trading cards with Monique on the thing. So everybody who's on the West Coast who can't make it can watch the thing with us, like Tom Duke and Shane, and be there with us vicariously through the live stream of the meet and greet on the 26th. So Monique, you and I, we're going to have to do some messaging on Facebook and figure out a good location for us to meet, do a live stream in a restaurant somewhere in downtown that's easy for you to get to from where you live, and easy for most people to get to just for transportation. And also somewhere we can trade cards and do a live stream inside, and maybe not too noisy so that we can actually talk and people can hear us and stuff like that. So things like that. So let's see. Monique is saying, I love listening to the Raptor Show podcast. Thanks, CC. Yeah, those guys are awesome. And they've been putting out more content. They didn't want to. They wanted to take a break, but stuff's been happening. So they've had to jump back in and make content, stuff like that. That's my opinion. I'm an MJ and David is Karl Malone. Okay, so you think you're Michael Jordan, he's Karl Malone? Well, we'll have to see. That's you got that. You're just talking a lot of trash. You got to back it up first. You got to get on the board first. Come on. My opinion is saying Vince is a legend, though. He put our franchise on the map. Yeah, I can't dispute that. He is a Raptors legend. This is the thing. I don't want his number to be retired in Toronto unless it comes after DeMar and Kyle. Kyle Lowry should be the first number retired in Raptors jerseys, and DeMar should be second. And maybe Carter doesn't even get retired. I don't know. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. This is a big issue of debate. Should we retire Vince Carter's jersey? We probably should, but I don't want him to be the first one. That's the whole thing I have to say about that. So things like that. Patrick Douglas saying, yeah, you're right. VC doesn't advocate Raptors world. In fact, he hurts us. Like, he hurts the perception of things like what Chris Bouchard said. Like, in fact, doing the research for Chris Bosh this week, I realized that he said a bunch of hurtful stuff about Toronto when he left also. Like, he said a couple things about playing in Toronto that he didn't like, about going through customs all the time, and a lot of the different things that, like, Chris Bouchard's kind of saying that is different up there, not from the stance of being an African-American in Canada, so like more about like the taxes and it being different because of metric system and stuff like that. Even after 7 years of playing here, Chris Bosh sold us out after he left when he went to Miami and kind of dissed Canada afterwards on the down low. We didn't hear it as much, but I found it yesterday or 2 days, whenever I did the research for the Chris Bosh tribute. I found it. I found a whole bunch of comments that Chris made about Toronto. And I'm like, you know what? This guy is kind of an asshole when it comes to thinking about how he thought about Toronto and stuff like that. So Raymond saying, laugh out loud, I bet Lex has bobblehead Vince turned around staring at the wall. Yeah, just about. He's behind the TV. I don't see him normally. It's only when I bring him out to show you guys. CC saying at Mo, the Raptor show is awesome. I can't wait till they start back on air and TV and YouTube. Yeah, those guys are awesome. I really love that those guys have gotten to that point in their careers, that coming from where they came from. Will Lou, you're a grassroots great story. You came from like just writing about the Raptors because you're a fan, and boom, look where you're at now. That's amazing. So awesome. Patrick Douglas saying 61. You're 61. Well, hi, congratulations, man. That's a great age. Listen, like, I know that our group maybe skews a little older here. I mean, I'm a little older. You guys are probably more interested in, I'll be saying old things, references and stuff like that. You'll get them more. Young people maybe hear some of the stuff I'm saying and they're like, woo, over my head. I don't understand what's going on here. So yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Shane Waters saying my spicy pea year, baby. So he's 43. Stuff like that. That's right. We were playing that whole way of you can tell your age by the uniform number of the player that you are this year. Like, I'm in my Aaron Baines year right now, and I'll be going into my Andre Karolinko year on the 26th and stuff like that. So Top of Top's here. Good to see Top of Top. I accepted his apology, but I would never vouch for anything that guy says about his time on the Raptors. The man quit on the team, and only people under a certain age look at him fondly. Yeah. Yeah, if you were a Raptor fan at that time when the Vince Carter trade happened, you understand why we're pissed at him. You understand why we feel this way. Sure, Rob Babcock was an idiot. Kevin O'Neill was a horrible coach. There was a lot of bad things about the Raptors franchise at that time, and it sucked. But still, at the same time, he was causing some of the problems himself. Like I said yesterday, why wasn't he mentoring more of the young guys? He was really too into himself in some ways. And then Tracy left. Part of the reason why he left was because of Vince. And then Charles has said so much. Charles Oakley has said so much about Vince Carter's mom, Michelle Carter, being a busybody in the Raptors organization and causing problems that way. So it's like Rob Babcock was a weak general manager, but then he had to deal with the mother of the star player who was trying to throw her weight around all over the place and tell them how to do personnel decisions and stuff like that. People need to realize Michelle Carter was a toxic part of this situation also. So let's see. That's my opinion, saying once you hear me answering these questions, the ones after 2019, you'll know I'm legit. Yes. All right. We're gonna finish up. I was gonna do an hour, and now I'm already at an hour and 40 minutes. So let's see. Top saying he put Canada on the map, but he quit and tipped off Seattle our plays and didn't dunk, et cetera, et cetera. There were a lot of different things. Like, as much as he built us up, I've likened it to this example. It's like he built us a beautiful, exquisite sandcastle on the beach. And then right after he finished it, he said, okay. And he kicked it over and destroyed it, is basically what he did to me. That's how I feel about it and stuff like that. So let's see. That's my opinion, saying let's do NBA Legends Trader card giveaway just to get us ready for the big one. Are you in Toronto? Because if you come to this meet and greet, I'll do trading cards with any of you guys. Like, if people come to the meet and greet we're talking about doing on the 26th, and you have basketball trading cards and you want to trade with me some of my old cards, I have cards that are all from the 90s and the late 80s that I will trade. And that's why we were talking about it with Monique, because she's collecting trading cards these days. And we wanted to do some trading just for fun. I figured that could be a whole part of it. And if there's other people that come to the meet and greet with their own cards and they want to get involved in the trading, that's perfectly fine also. So we'll just have to figure it out. I'd like this to be somewhere on the TTC subway line, and preferably south, somewhere near Bloor and Young, near the middle, so that everybody can kind of come and be there together. I prefer not going to a very commercialized chain. It'd be better if we could go and support a company that's kind of local and a small business. That's the other thing I will try and say about it. But Monique, if you're hearing me and what I'm saying, we'll talk about this more and we'll figure it out. Because I want to coordinate with you specifically because I know you want to be there. I want to trade cards with you. And I think that we could do a really cool live stream with everybody and have interviews and actually talk amongst the Raptor freaks that come here and frequent every day, and just have cool stuff, interacting with me on a face-to-face basis on the live stream. That'd be cool. All right, let's see. Okay, that makes no sense, but you can have all my points. I just want to play. I don't know what you guys are. This is still the shit talking. I think you retracted the message is what you're replying to. CC saying you guys are going to end up having trivia on Zoom or something like that. That'd be fun. I don't know. I love writing trivia games. There's a reason why I do it, is because I really enjoy it. And you can ask people that played it a lot this year. The questions are fun, and it's kind of cool to learn the things that I find and stuff like that. I do a regular wrestling trivia on Facebook also that is very rewarding and stuff like that. It's a similar kind of, not the same kind of trivia though. It's different in some ways, but I get thousands of players for that. It's crazy. It's so popular, the wrestling trivia I do. I have thousands of people playing when I do those nights and stuff like that. They really love it. They really love the wrestling trivia I do. All right, let's see. Alistair saying, wait, we have no retired jerseys? Yeah, we haven't retired anybody's jersey in Canada in our arena at all. And it'll be Kyle Lowry first. And it'll be when he retires. We'll probably turn around within a month of him retiring and put number 7 up in our rafters. Nobody's worn 7 since he left, and nobody will. Nobody will. And, on the download, something you guys may not have noticed, since DeMar got traded for Kawhi, no one's worn number 10. That's another number that's probably going to be saved and put up in the rafters also. It'll be Kyle and DeMar will be the first 2 up there. Denial saying from Queens, New York, was never a ball fan, period, as I grew up playing soccer. Got married and moved to Toronto in 2010 and only started to watch basketball during championship year. Now I'm hooked. Laugh out loud. This thing about being a Raptors fan that's very attractive is that, first of all, we see that the team is very functional and very like knows what it's doing. And it's easier to root for something that you can tell is built from a successful like perspective and like cohesion, functionality. And you just love the talent and the way that they're building this team is just exciting. Like Masai and Bobby have really built an entertaining NBA team. And that's why people right now are starved for Rico Hines clips, right? And that's why everybody's like, could we start the NBA season tomorrow? Hello, we really want to see the Raptors play because they really put a very attractive, entertaining team together. And yeah, I can see how people get hooked on this. I mean, I've been on this ride since the beginning, and it is a lot more fun right now. This is the most fun being a Raptor fan has been in a long, 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 like ever, maybe, other than winning the championship and that kind of stuff. But this period of time since the championship has been so much fun. Even with the Tampa shittiness, that was kind of fun, even though, because I knew we weren't dead in the water. I knew we were going to be good still. It's just we had to weather that bullshit. And we did. And we're looking good on the other side of it, which is really good. That's my opinion, saying Kyle Lowry and DeMar over Vince. Let me ask, if all three players are in their prime and you had to start one, bench one, and cut one, who would you pick? All right, these are the kind of things that you should be adding to the chat more instead of bragging about yourself in trivia. Give me some good questions. And this is a good question. All right. Well, I'm going to cut Vince because he gave up on us. First of all, if a player's going to, I know that they have a proclivity to give up or not try hard on the court. I don't want them. So I'm cutting Vince. And I'll start DeMar and I'll bench Kyle. I'll bench Kyle because at this, we're talking about at our prime. Maybe I start Kyle and bench DeMar, but it's tough. This is a tough question to always answer. Like I could flip either way. If it's now, I start DeMar and I bench Kyle and cut Vince. If it's in their prime, I start Kyle, bench DeMar, and cut Vince. So it's every time I cut Vince. Clicks here. NBA preseason in Canada is back, baby. Montreal, October 14th. Don't think I could go. I have a wedding. Yeah, Montreal, Edmonton. Yeah, we're going to be in Montreal and Edmonton. So those cities get ready and go to a Raptors preseason game. Isaac Campbell saying, yesterday on the court, I beat a guy in his Danielle Marshall years. Dirk over Danielle. Well, that's true. Dirk is better than Danielle. But, man, let's not slander a great Raptor legend like Danielle Marshall. I love Danielle Marshall. Danielle Marshall was fun. I wish he had been on the Raptors for more years than he was. He had 12 three-pointers in one single game for the Raptors. And that is still the record. And I think that's awesome. And he's just a cool dude. He was a good scorer. He's underrated, and people forget about him. He was actually a very good quality NBA player and stuff like that. But Isaac, I love to hear that you're still out there on the blacktop, killing it, making that twine sing with the ball going through and stuff like that. Yeah, you keep going out there and getting out there and tearing it up on the basketball court. Oh, yeah. CC saying, Bosch once said, I call my Raptors time like basketball high school years. DeMar on a podcast said Bosch didn't care his last year here. Bosch knew he was on his way out. Yeah. Similar to Vince. And that's what I'm saying. You got to build a culture. Vince had the opportunity to be the guy to build the Raptors culture and carry it on, make it a tradition like Kyle and DeMar did. They built a culture. They are the guys who built the culture, not Bosch, not Vince, Kyle and DeMar. And that culture is currently still in effect, even though both those guys are gone. That we still have this culture. It stayed intact after Kyle left. Kyle left in a way that didn't mess that up. He didn't out the bottom of the rug like Vince Carter and Chris Bosh did. And DeMar, the same thing. We did that to him, unfortunately. We pulled the rug out underneath him to do what we had to do. And that's why he deserves to get his jersey retired before Vince. And he will be up in our rafters for sure. DeMar DeRozan needs a payback for his sacrifice and what he did in helping us get a championship. And that means when he retires from the NBA and he's no longer playing the NBA, we need to shower him with so much love here in Toronto in all kinds of different ways. We need to say we're sorry. And we need to say we love you, DeMar, and you are a Raptor legend, and you will always be that so important to our franchise history. That you, and you know Kyle too, were the guys who built the culture that we enjoy now with the Raptors. We wouldn't have that without DeMar DeRozan. And he recognized that as a young player. And that's something that's different. And that's why I hate how we did DeMar. Like in some ways, I wish we had done Vince like we did DeMar instead. Because DeMar didn't deserve it. He was a real one. He was going to be loyal to us till the very end, and then we shafted him. And I hate that. I hate that so much. I hate that so much. Oh my gosh, I hate that so much. But it's interesting that DeMar said that, Cece, that you're saying that because he would be self-aware enough to see how he went out and maybe like, you know what? I don't want to go out like that because I can kind of see it being like that. Like, because Vince impacted Chris Bosh as a rookie. It's like Vince was on the team when Chris was a rookie, and he saw how Vince treated Toronto when he left. So he did the same damn thing when he left. So there you go. That's what I'm saying. These guys didn't do us any favors by instituting that and doing it that way when they left. So yeah, he knew he was on his way out. He was sick of being here. He really did put in a lot of time with us, 7 years. He was the face of the franchise. It was a really hard time. We had horrible roster construction. And a lot of it isn't Chris Bosh's fault. But there are a lot of things he said afterwards that weren't good. And that's what we'll say. That's my opinion. But the year before Bosh left, he averaged 24 and 11 for a season. He was a beast. Yeah, he was going to get those numbers anyway. It's like kind of like being the best player on a shitty team. You're going to get numbers either way. David's saying, you can Google too. Ah! Oh, that's funny. Oh, he knew that off the top of his head. Oh, well, wait a second. You're not lining up. There's something fishy about what you're saying. You don't know anything before 2019, but you can quote a Chris Bosh stat line from way back off the top of your head. There's a lie here. Monique's saying, I remember CC regarding Bosh. Yeah, she remembers what Bosh said. Patrick's saying, Raptor Freak World, awesome. Building a fun, different community, Alex. Yeah, Patrick, if you live in the GTA, and you want to come to the Raptor Freak meet and greet that we're planning tentatively for August 26th on a Friday night, please make plans and come to it. Because I'm pretty sure we can get this together and make this happen. Monique's saying Kyle first for sure. Kyle first jersey for sure. That's my opinion. Saying David is nervous now that I dropped that Chris Bosh stat. I'm telling you, enjoy at the top, David. I'm pulling up on you as we speak. All right. I can tell trivia days are going to get a lot more interesting coming up soon. David's saying, I already told you, you could have all my points. Laugh out loud. You want to give him 1,050 points to start, like as a head start, and you're going to catch up to him over the season? Is that what you're saying? This is how much David's confident in himself. He's going to give him his points, and he's going to still catch up to him. Let's see. Talking to everybody, CC saying, I don't know. I just remember DeMar saying that, R.E. Bosh. Well, I want to read Bosh's book now. He has a book called Letters to a Young Athlete, and it's probably stuff that he would have told himself as a young athlete and his wiseness after playing in the NBA and everything that he learned through his NBA career. So I mean, that may really inform some of the things that we're talking about right here. Is reading Bosh's book that came out last year, Letters to a Young Athlete. That's my opinion. Saying even though we didn't do trivia today, I still feel like I have a mental advantage over the field. All right. You know what I would say right now? That's my opinion. You're getting into the realm of cockiness that Scotty Barnes does not like. Scotty Barnes doesn't like cocky people like you, talking trash and not really backing it up yet. So please do something in the trivia field first and then talk some trash because you can't do it right now. Stuff like, yeah, I'd cut Vince. I would cut Vince. The way I look at Vince is he was more like, listen, they say there's sizzle and steak. He's sizzle. He's not steak. DeMar DeRozan's steak. Kyle Lowry's steak. Vince Carter's sizzle. He's really flashy dunks. He's really more known for being such a badass dunker and stuff like that. But he's not necessarily like a Kobe. He's not necessarily like a Michael. He's more very good dunker and a good NBA player that had a long career. But he wasn't really a winner. He didn't have a killer instinct. He was too nice. He was too busy being friends with everybody in the league, smiling at everybody. You know, at the end of the game, he'd get beat and he'd be smiling and laughing with all the other players on the other team and stuff like that. I hated that. I hated that so much. Yeah, I cut Vince every single time. I'm just saying that I saw him in his prime. I worked at the Air Canada Center when he played for us. I was there in person for most of his games. I saw how good he was. I know how good he was. I know how good DeMar's been. I know how good Kyle is. I'm talking about winning. I'm talking about having a winning team. Sure, if you want to watch somebody make amazing athletic plays and dunk and do all this kind of stuff, but miss a shot in a game 6 against Philadelphia because he went to graduation that day, you go ahead and you get Vince Carter on your team. And you go ahead. You can do that. Yeah. Vince's prime was better. He's got to start. In 2001, he averaged like 28, 5 and 5. He dropped like multiple 50-point games against the Sixers in playoffs. We were one shot away from moving on. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. I was there. I saw all that. Yeah, I'm still saying the same thing. You got to understand a lot of what Vince did at that time. The reason why he won at that time was because of Charles Oakley, Dell Curry, Muggsy Bogues, Alvin Williams, Kevin Willis. All these other vets around him helped him have success in the playoffs those times. That he wouldn't have done any of that shit without them, and it shows throughout the rest of his career. He had very middling success. He never won an NBA championship. He did fairly well with the Nets in the playoffs at different times, but they never won. And then for the whole back half of his career, he was on shitty teams in horrible places, and he didn't have very good numbers. So forget about it. All right, I'm not going to argue this anymore, but I'm just going to say that. I'm a fun guy saying, sorry, bro, but in their primes, easily starting Vince and bench DeMar and cut Kyle. You guys can disagree with me. I have a different criteria for what I'm looking at. I'm not just looking at prime, athletic, amazing stud Vince. I'm talking about mentality. I'm talking about killer instinct. I'm talking about winning like Bill Russell. And I'm talking about that kind of stuff. And Kyle Lowry has that way more than Vince Carter ever had. And that's why I made my decision that way. He's like, you can have guys that can do cool dunks and stuff like that, but they don't win. Who cares? It's whatever. All right, let's see. Yeah. You guys, all right, we got somebody who's already gotten a wrench thrown at them. That's good. Yeah, all right, let me just keep moving on. I know I'm way over. You guys have got me talking all day, and it's fine. It's all good. Alistair saying Masai literally sacrificed the GOAT to Chosen. Seriously, like DeMar wanted to be on our team for his whole career. He had already said, I'm a lifer with the Raptors. I would never do the Raptors wrong. And I believe him because he comes from Compton. He comes from the land of the Bloods and the Crips. And he's seen gang allegiances. And in fact, he has a little bit of, not that he's involved in gangs or anything, but he has people that look out for him in LA that are gang affiliated, that look out for him. But he's avoided all that lifestyle. So he understands loyalty more than most people. And that's the thing that hurt the most about it, is that we stabbed him in the back and we hurt his loyalty to us. He still loves the city. He still loves the Raptors. He doesn't necessarily like Masai Ujiri. He's probably forgiven him to a degree and stuff like that. But it's a difficult situation and stuff like that. I wish it hadn't happened that way, but it did. And the way it happened, it worked out. But it still sucks. I hate it to this day. Isaac saying Danielle is a top 10 Raptor for sure. I ran into him at Popeyes right after a Raptors game once. Solid NBA two-way player. Yeah, I don't know if he's a top 10 Raptor of all time, but he's definitely somebody that doesn't get enough knowledge, or people don't talk about him enough in some ways. I know he just has one record with the Raptors, and he had, they weren't that good the year he was playing here, but he was a 20-point scorer for the Raptors at a certain point. So Jimmy Pope saying, what's up, Jimmy? Good to see you. Glad you made it. I'm going long. I should have been done already, but these guys keep me talking. Patrick Douglas is saying benching DeMar showed small improvement over years. Sorry, low IQ. Casey indicated he didn't do preseason work. He was loyal though. I don't know if that's true though. I think that DeMar worked really hard in the offseason. I mean, we've seen DeMar make leaps and bounds. Even to this day, he's still improving and getting better. And as much as that culture I just talked about, that him and Kyle left here with the team, what part of that culture was this crazy, absolutely psychotic workout in this offseason to get better. And that's why Pascal does what he does right now. Pascal Siakam got the learn all this from DeMar and Kyle. They taught Fred and Pascal to be hard workers in the offseason and stuff like that. That's part of their legacy. That's part of what they passed to the next guys that Vince did not, that Chris did not. They did the opposite. They passed negativity about the Raptors on after they left. DeMar and Kyle, when they left, they passed on positivity and a culture and a way of doing things, like how to work out in the off season. That's why Pascal, even though he got paid a bunch of money, he works his ass off still. The influence of DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry very early in his career as a rookie and stuff like that. So DeMar doesn't have a low IQ either. He has a really high IQ, and his mid-range game is one of the best in the league. He really did take knowledge that Kobe had after he retired. Kobe retired and said, I know all this stuff on how to do things with my footwork to make it really easy and advantageous for you. I want to show you. He showed DeMar when he left and retired how to do it. And this is the closeness of DeMar and Kobe and stuff like that. CC saying, I'm going to try and find the podcast I heard DeMar tell that Bosch story and let you guys know which podcast it was. Thanks, CC. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear that. I was really reading Bosch's own comments himself about all that stuff and stuff like that. Oh, man, Raymond, I wanted to know where that site is. I might go look at it. Patrick's saying, yes, too damn friendly after losing. Michael Jordan said that after Vince asked him for his number during a game. Yeah, it was a real problem at that time. Because listen, I was hearing Charles and Magic and Larry and Michael, these guys from the 80s that hated each other. Like Magic and Larry wanted to kill each other. They hated each other on the court. There was no love lost. Joakim Noah is such a cool player on this league because he hates all the other players on the other team. I respect that so much. That there were too many players at a certain time that became friends, buddies. Like LeBron really encompasses this too. We see in the offseason, LeBron with Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, all his buddies out on like floaties in the water, like, oh, we're all friends and stuff like that. I don't want to see that to a degree. Like seeing LeBron and Draymond in Toronto last week, it's like, yeah, this is just normal LeBron hanging out with the enemy kind of stuff. And it could be like LeBron said, he did want to play for Golden State. He said that in this offseason. He's like, I wish I could go play for Golden State. And now he's hanging out with Draymond. That's the thing to me. It's like Vince was always like that. He was more friends with people like Dwayne Wade and other players on other teams than he was with his own teammates. And I hated that. He would call it, it's a part of being part of the NBA fraternity, of being all friends. And Michael and Charles and Magic, people like that were critical of players in Vince's age for being too chummy. That this was an issue. It's like they didn't care. They didn't care. They were getting paid. They were on TV. He was getting to do dunks, but he didn't give a shit about winning ultimately. Vince really didn't care about whether he won or not to a degree when he was on the Raptors. He'll say, yeah, I cared. Of course I cared. You always care when you play. No, but you didn't care like the Raptors do now. You didn't say I want to win like 500 times in an interview like Scotty Barnes did. So I don't think you did care about winning. I think you cared about looking good and having friends around the league is what you cared about. Stuff like that. So let's see. Let's keep going. David's laughing. Raymond saying, Vince got his karma. No, he played his last game in a COVID empty stadium. Yeah, I don't know if that's karma. I think that's kind of sad in a way too. Because like honestly, he did. I mean, listen, I hated him for doing what he did, but I also respect like his very long career and all this kind of stuff like that. But I don't know if that's karma. I mean, it's just bad timing. There's a pandemic right when you're about to be done. That's my opinion. I would like a between the legs Vince Carter 2001 dunk competition dunk statue right in front of the Scotiabank Arena. I would like it between the legs. Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, if we're going to put a statue out there, it's got to be Kyle Lowry first. Vince could possibly get a statue eventually, but I don't like honestly. I think retiring his jersey may be enough. It may be one or the other. Can we either give him a statue or retire his jersey? Now, Kyle could get both. That's what I'm saying. We want to give different honors to different people on different levels. Like a dunk champion, face of the franchise, changed the whole game in Canada. Sure, that's a big deal. But is it a bigger deal than a first time ever NBA champion for the Raptors? Is it, things like that? Kyle Lowry is the greatest Raptor of all time. He should get those accolades before Vince. That's like public knowledge. Everybody thinks that Kyle is the greatest Raptor of all time. It's not Vince Carter. Some people can try and argue Vince Carter, but I can give you every reason why it's Kyle over him. Let's see. That Vince Carter bobblehead is neglected with you. It would be in good hands with me. Like it's got feelings or something like that. You're probably one of those people that like has Like if you have Funkos or something like that, you're like worried that they're going to come to life and attack you or something like that. I knew somebody, like I was dating a girl once and I brought her over to my house and she came into my room and she saw some Funko collection and she's like, I can't be in here with them. I'm worried that they're going to come to life and attack me, like a really bad horror movie. Oh, it's so funny. All right, let's see. Isaac's saying Lowry first. Carter can wait until Lowry retires. Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. And I don't even know if we'll do it then either. It's really, I don't know. Like Vince isn't that active with our Raptors community up here. He's come and shown up like maybe once or twice, and ever in the whole time since he's left Toronto. He's come, like he came and waved at one point during the championship run and during like our 25th year, 20th year or something like that, stuff like that. That's my opinion. Saying, can I get a love you, Vince, for being the face of Toronto shout out? I said it. Is that enough? Let's see. Kenneth Daniels saying greatest Raptor, Kawhi Leonard. Well, you can make this argument in some ways. Maybe the greatest player, like talent wise, that we've ever had. Sure, I could probably give you that. The greatest, like skill wise, talented player that we've ever had is Kawhi Leonard. But I wouldn't say he's the greatest because I have a whole ranking system, a formula that factors in longevity, loyalty, winning, different things like that. Kawhi does well on the scale, but he wasn't here long enough. He was here for 1 year, so he gets discounted for that and stuff like that. But I would say this: Kawhi's the best player that ever played in the Raptors jersey, sure, but not the greatest. I wouldn't say that. Patrick Douglas saying, sorry, Alex. I remember we losing the playoffs with DeMar, just jacking up shots. He had reached his limit with us, and even now in Chicago. Again, he loved his town. We were winning with him. Okay, I see what you're trying to say, Patrick. And there is some truth to what you're saying, that he is limited in some ways. His defensive ability really kind of hurts for winning in the playoffs. And I think you're right. And then that was part of the tough decision we made when we traded for Kawhi, was that was the trade-off, and it really paid off. You know, you might be right to a degree that DeMar just unfortunately is one of these players that's a really good NBA player, but he will never win a championship. And I hate that for him because I really do want him to win a championship. And, you know, I do listen, I give him a lot of credit for those playoff years where we failed because that was hard. And they were pushing against a ceiling that we had never gotten through. And they did really good job over the years. They were consistently in the playoffs every year. And they kicked ass as much as possible. They got the first seed in the East a couple times, and you know they kicked ass. And they got swept some years and stuff like that, depending on the matchup. A lot of times it was LeBron, but listen, they still were pushing this rock up this hill for us and our franchise, and getting it to more and more new levels of better and better. And that was necessary for us to be at the stages we're on now. That we would never be involved in championship or anything like that in 2019 without the failures of DeMar and Kyle throughout the 2010s. And, you know, you could say that they failed with the Bulls this year, but in some ways, the thing that happened with the Bulls this year was Caruso got hurt. They lost Lonzo and they lost some injuries, and that really hurt them for the playoffs. But, you know, there is a lot to what you're saying about his game specifically and how it hurts or hinders his ability to win. And I will agree with that. I know that that's what your point is and stuff like that. Kenneth Daniels say KL bus driver on a bus. Yeah, he was our main guy. He was an important guy on our team. He was our MVP in the finals. But you know, he couldn't have done it without the rest of them. And maybe you could say we couldn't have done it without him. Sure. So it was a mutual thing. Let's see. Technically, greatest Raptor is 3-time champ Patrick McCaw. All right, Raymond Jacobs putting Patrick McCaw's name into the ring for greatest Raptor of all time. And Kenneth's agreeing. Well, of course, it's Patrick McCaw. He has a really good record for getting championships. That's my opinion. Saying, would you at least say Vince Carter's the greatest dunker ever? Oh, of course. I'll say this. Yeah, I'll even say that over Michael. Yeah. We've got to, you know, when we're saying different things, we got to make it clear what we're saying. Greatest dunker in the history of the NBA, Vince Carter, by far. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'll own that for sure. Because like he was the most innovative. He made the dunk competition exciting and interesting again. He did shit that nobody had ever done. And even Michael would say that he thinks that Vince is a better dunker than him. I think he would say that. As Michael is, it's really between three guys. If you're getting this argument, it's between Michael, Vince, and Dr. J. And that you'd have to look at those three guys as who was the greatest dunker ever. Patrick Douglas saying, worst Raptor, Hakeem the Dream, a complete fraud. Well, on my Raptors rankings, actually, Jalen Rose is the worst Raptor ever. If we're looking at greatest Raptors ever, so like Hakeem is near the bottom. He is on my list, and he's got like 0 points. He didn't get any points, but Jalen Rose has a negative score because he's been so bad towards the Raptors since he retired. So he's the worst Raptor ever. Is Jalen Rose? That's officially on my greatest Raptor all time rankings. Let's see. Where does Bosch rank as the best Raptor? All right, let me pull this up, guys. Since you guys are all interested in this, and we're just in overtime. And you know what? If you guys want to keep talking, we'll keep talking. I got a couple of things I got to do today, but I got some time. It's all good. All right, here's my Raptors, greatest Raptors of all time ranking. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and share the link with you guys so you guys can look at it a little more in depth on your own time. But yeah, on my list right now, I've got Chris Bosh on the list at number 12. If that tells you anything, Chris Bosh is number 12 on my greatest Raptors of all time list, and you can see why. All right, hopefully this link works. Let's just try it, see if that works. You guys can click it, and then you can see it, and you can see my categories and how I weighted them and why they are the way they are, stuff like that. So. Let's see. David's saying we're going to have a Barnes statue long before Vince gets one. I like that. I like the idea of that. That means it's going to be a long time from now. That's my opinion. Saying I'm not a therapist, but I think this Vince breakup still looms with Raptor fans. Do you want to talk about it, bro? Just release it. You'll feel better. Sure, I'll talk about it. I'm a big believer in talking out all this kind of stuff. Yeah, sure. We can talk about this. I think all fan nations have trauma and hurt from different events and different things that have happened to them and different things. I think that the Celtics nation might have a little trauma right now from what happened in the finals just now. You know, it's just how it works in sports. You have failure and success. And yeah, there's trauma from this. And the thing about it that makes it bad is I want to forgive Vince. I want to be like, I love Vince. He's a real Raptor legend. I care about him. But he continues to do damage by opening his mouth on broadcasts on NBA TV and ESPN, slighting us. And fuck him. Even his new podcast that he does. He just started a new podcast. He had Kyle Lowry on as a guest. They were making fun of Jimmy Butler for his new haircut. He slights us on his podcast. I've watched it. He will slight us on there too. So he continues to this day to disrespect us. In fact, he may be one of these people that doesn't truly believe. Like, I know he was there and he saw it when they won and he felt like a big thing about it. He said that on his podcast that him and Tracy were in Golden State when we won the championship at the game and saw the Raptors win the championship against the Warriors. And then he had a lot of weird feelings about it. He was like, wow, they really did it. They made it. But, listen, he could say that he felt good about it and all this stuff. But I'm going to tell you right now, he was one of those experts that picked the Warriors to beat us in the finals. Let's just put it that way. That before the series, I'll bet you that Vince Carter was saying the Warriors are going to beat the Raptors for sure. So there you go. That's part of the reason why I don't like him and stuff like that. So Monique's saying, do you see any more books coming from Nick Nurse in the future? I do. I think that especially eventually when his older age, when he retires, I'm sure he's going to write all kinds of books and all kinds of stuff. Steve Ed saying, yeah, I heard that the Raptors just signed Gabe Brown. Yeah. Out of Michigan State, 4-year college player, 6'8", small forward, has a wingspan and a frame that Bobby Webster likes to have on our team. Yeah. All right. Cool Cat saying, yeah, the link works. All right, cool. So you can see where I'm done with my rankings as far as Raptors rankings. You can see a little bit on there. It's not totally perfect. And I would adjust it because Scotty Barnes isn't even on that ranking right now. I figure he's too early in his career to put him on there fairly. But I will adjust it over time. And obviously, Raptors that are currently Raptors have more of a chance to continue to get points. In fact, I just bumped up Pascal and Fred for this past season or in different ways. They just got some points added to them, stuff like that. So, yeah, you guys can look at that. And you can. I did a whole stream on this. Wrote a report on a Sunday report in my Raptorsfreak archive. You can find that. And there's more in-depth explanation about the points rankings and how I award them and stuff like that. So Cool Cat saying I think Vince would get something when Kyle gets his statue when he retires. I say either give him a statue or retire his number. Maybe not retire his number and just give him a statue, or just retire his number and give Kyle the statue, something like that. Kenneth Daniels saying Bosch better than Alvin Williams. Yeah, statistically, but not as a great Raptor. You got to understand, my rankings don't have to do with who's the greatest player, who's the best player. I mean, who's the best player? Who's the most talented player? It's the rankings have to do with who's the greatest Raptor. Like they're great because they've been good to the team. They've been great on the team. They've won. It's like, you look at the categories. The first category is value. That is basically the one that you're talking about. How good of a player are they? You see, I have Kawhi Leonard as a 1.5. So I gave him an extra half point for being that much better. Vince got an extra half point there also. And then you see Norman's got a half point. And then the other guys all got 1 point. Fame is basically like accolades. Have they won awards? Are you all NBA? Are you all star? Did you win a dunk competition? You get that point if you've gotten some fame. Longevity is exactly what it sounds like. If you played on the team long enough, then you get the longevity point. Loyalty is being loyal to the team, not shitting on it after you left. You see, Vince got a minus point because of that. Kawhi doesn't get a loyalty point. And, Kyle gets a 1.5 and DeMar gets 2 points on loyalty because we burned him. And then you got the winner category is were they winning? Did their team have an above 500 record when they played? Chris Bosh loses points in that category because his team did not win when he was there for most of the time he was there. And then champion. If you were on the championship Raptor team, you get an extra point, just an extra consideration because that's legitimately the ultimate thing of greatness is winning. So it's really the greatest Raptor of all time ranking. It's not the best players that played for the Raptors. It's not the best statistically. It's who in my eyes was a great Raptor. And that's how it all falls like that. That's why Kawhi is not right up at the number 1. He's number 5 because Kyle, DeMar, Fred, and Pascal are all greater Raptors than Kawhi is in my eyes. So that's how I look at it and stuff like that. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. Raymond's saying, what is Tracy McGrady up to nowadays? I don't know. He's just retired. You see him in interviews sometimes. Sometimes he does a little bit of commentating, but not really. I don't know what Tracy does. I'm pretty sure he's just low key and living his life. Isaac's saying, nice. How long do you think it will take for Scotty to crack the top 20 on your list? I might add him. I might add him later this summer. I could add him after I finish the stream. It's just I didn't want to put him in there because he can't get any of the longevity points or anything like that. And I want to give him a chance to win. And it's like right now, I don't know where he would be on this list. I don't know where I put him in there. And I don't want to put him in there too early. I could put Precious in there. I could put all these other young guys in there and rank them. But I want to give him a little bit of time on the Raptors to gain some of the points first. Yeah, and Patrick Douglas saying Jalen Rose for sure, especially after allowing Kobe's 80 points. Yeah, see, he got negative points for fame because of 2 things. He allowed the 80 points by Kobe, and he continues to this day to put down the Raptors on NBA TV in the United States. So that's my opinion. I looked at the list, and Vince has a -5 for loyalty. Exactly. You get deducted points for being a punk ass. And stuff like that. Cool Cat saying Vince defended Toronto as a good city against Chris Bouchard. Garbage. Had a terrible management. Too young. He cried when we honored him. I forgive Vince seeing the Netflix documentary. No statue for Vince. Maybe honorary picture. Statue and jersey retirements for championship. We were about winning. I like Cool Cat's statements here. All of them. About forgiving Vince, about like what he deserves and what he doesn't. I think that Cool Cat's right on point right here. Vince did come out and defend us against Chris Bouchard. But once again, if you watched it, he was kind of like tacky about it. And, people like Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, and Chris Bosh are the people that Chris Bouchard is talking about when he tried to say this shit. Jalen Rose, another one, stuff like that. So, Vince, in some ways, he would have done things differently with things the way they went down with Toronto. I'm sure in his wisdom and older age, he understands where he fucked up. And he probably would do things a little bit differently. I would, if he could do it over, I bet he would. Kenneth Daniels saying, yeah, but Alvin Williams at 1 is too close to Bosh. No, Alvin Williams was much better than we remember. You got to remember that Alvin was like number 2 to Vince in those years. As far as like he was the second option. He was the point guard. He was the one who helped us win our first playoff series. Like we wouldn't have won our first playoff series ever against the New York Knicks if it wasn't for Alvin Williams. He hit huge clutch baskets right at the end of the game for us to win that series. So Alvin gets a plus for being a clutch, big-time player for us in our first playoff runs. And the other thing is he was completely loyal to us. He's loyal to us to this day. He's a broadcaster for us. And he even said this year on the telecast that he's kind of disowned Philadelphia as his hometown, and Toronto is now his city. So listen, you got to give some points to that man for being that great. And I've met the man a couple times in person. He's such a nice dude. He's signed my jersey that's on the wall. He is one of my favorite Raptors of all time. And I do give him a bit of favor because of that. And yeah, but this is, once again, this is my personal rankings. You guys don't have to agree with them. This is just as a pure Raptors freak, what I see should be happening with their rankings as far as who really deserves the accolades and stuff with us and stuff like that. So yeah, all right, let's see. Alistair saying, but imagine what Kyle would have done back in this day. They would have suffered too. You're right to a degree. If Kyle had been in that environment and it was Rob Babcock and stuff like that, it could have been very difficult and tough. But in some ways, we were kind of like that when Kyle showed up. It wasn't totally all figured out. And maybe it was DeMar more. DeMar was the influence on Kyle to get him to chill out and grow up. Because it wasn't until he came to Toronto that he grew up. He had some bad years in Memphis and Houston where he was a problem on their team. And the coach didn't like him. He didn't get along with, I think it was D'Antoni or somebody at that time. Whoever their coach was, he wasn't getting along. He was getting benched. So he came to Toronto and he woke up and he went through some maturity in the early years with Toronto. And, who knows? Maybe it was DeMar's influence on him. It could be DeMar as a big common thread in all of this and stuff like that. But you know what? In that thought exercise, you're probably right, Alistair. If some of these guys had been in other eras, they probably would have dealt with it kind of similar ways. But still, it doesn't matter if somebody does you wrong. If you do something wrong back to them, you look just as bad. So it's better to be the bigger person in this situation. So what if the organization sucked? You made yourself look bad by your own behavior. That's what I'll say. It's like there's going to be bad people and horrible people around you. Well, you lower yourself to their level when you don't play up to that. And yeah, the Raptors were a huge dysfunctional mess, and that contributed to Vince Carter and Chris Bosh's feelings about Toronto and stuff like that. So, all right, let's see. Cool Cat saying, can we give Junkyard Dog a higher ranking? He loved us and works with the organization from time to time. I love that. Let me reassess this just because. Cool Cat saying this. Because I want to look at this. All right, JYD right now, he's at the highest of the tier with 2.5 points. He's there with Amir and Dell. That is kind of where he is, though. I mean, I don't know if I could bump him up into the group with Gasol and Peterson and Calderon. That those guys are kind of like, they're groups. You can see they're very much grouped in fives the way that I did this. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to reassess this. The guys that have already played and retired, they're not really going to change their numbers. It's really the guys that are currently playing. They can move around on it. Alistair saying the management was poorly run when he was around. If Masai didn't come in 2012, we don't win a chip. DeMar was here before Masai showed up. And DeMar took care of his business and was a model NBA young rookie and player through Bosh being a horrible example for him, through having a shitty coach right when he first came in, Jay Triano. And he was fine. He worked through it. That's what I'm saying. We can see an example of a player not letting that be an excuse. That there's on a lot of teams in this league, there's shitty teams, and there's players being good citizens and not doing what Bosh and Vince did. That's what I'm saying. Like Karl Anthony Towns or Kevin Garnett in Minnesota for so many years. Think about that. That kind of stuff is what I'm saying. It's not an excuse just because your team's shitty or your management sucks. You are a good player. Play as a good player on the court, and don't let that stuff reflect on you. Because when you do it, when you dog it, that just reflects poorly on you because that was your choice solely. And that's what I mean with this and stuff like that. That's my opinion saying if you walked out the door and Vince was randomly walking past, what is the first thing you would say to him? Would you ask him if you sign a bobblehead? Well, I've met Tracy McGrady, so I know what I would have said to him. In fact, I'm going to save that story. I'm not going to tell it right now. But if I met Vince Carter right now to this day, you know what I would tell him? I would thank him. I would thank him for his effect on the whole country of Canada. Because of all the things that he has done, this is the most important thing that he did, is that he caused kids like Andrew Wiggins and different young Canadians to come up and become great stars. in the NBA. That the reason why there's so many Canadians in the league right now, very specifically, it has to do with Vince Carter. So I would thank him for his effect on Canadian basketball. I would thank him for, his great dunk championship and his fantastic early years in the Raptors. I wouldn't bring up the other stuff. I would just talk to him about the positive things, because I wouldn't want to do that to him, because he doesn't need to hear me get down on him like I'm doing today to his face. I just thank him for the positive, good things that he did, because that's what I would do. David would ask him to dunk. He's a band nerd. I might ask him to pull out his saxophone and play some tunes, play some Kenny G. Cool Cat saying, Alvin was a great point guard and was a tough player. Loved his game. He was, and he was loyal to us. He was so loyal in a period when nobody was. When Vince was being unloyal to us, Alvin was doubling down on his loyalty. So let's just put it that way. And I saw it like from the inside. I said, look, Vince is being an asshole to us. Meanwhile, Alvin Williams is a real one. And he's still here with us. And that's part of it right there, is I'll give him extra points just for his loyalty, his clutch, and how important he was around 2000 on the Raptors. Preach on about Alvin. Yeah, you got it. You got it, Monique. That's right. We need to remember why Alvin's so good. Some people have been negative about his broadcasting style and him not being totally the sharpest, most well-honed NBA broadcaster, but he's getting better. You got to give him time. It's going to be really, really good that he's on there over time, because he can tell real good stories from a Raptor perspective, and he's a real one. And people don't give him the respect that he deserves from his career. He's not a bench role player. This was a real important Raptor for us. Really important. That's my opinion, saying these adult XX bots are infiltrating the stream over the Vince slander. They're upset. They're Vince Carter fans. Cool Cat saying, looks like I'm getting points with Raptorsfreak. Woo! Well, it's real easy to get points with me here. Now, they won't go towards the trivia. If it was that way, I'm sure that's my opinion would be brown nosing me to tomorrow with all kinds of comments if you can get some points that way. Kenneth Daniels saying, I think you have wrong information about Vince. He likes Toronto. I think he does too. I think you're right, but this is complicated. It's a complicated thing. What you got to understand is Vince is from Florida. Vince is from a similar place that Scotty's from. But unlike Scotty, he didn't really have very many ties to Toronto. He really came in cold. Scotty's got ties here. He's got uncle and aunts. He got very deep Jamaican roots that are linked to Canada and the Jamaican community here. Now, Vince came here and he may have had some connections, stuff like that, but it really is. Listen, if he likes Toronto and he likes the city, but he doesn't necessarily like the team, is what I'm saying. Like, he has really been put us down in broadcasts. Like, you need to go watch him call a Raptor game today, and you decide how you feel about. It may be that he completely loves the city, he loves the town, he loves all that kind of stuff, but the Raptors, he's not really supporting us or helping us. He continues to push the same kind of putting us down that other NBA broadcasters do, like Skip Bayless or Colin Cowherd or Stephen A. Smith. He is in their group of putting us down. And that's why I don't think he likes the Raptors. I don't think he likes our team specifically in some ways. And, it's just how it is. It sucks. I wish he was in more better graces in some ways with Raptors Nation. He just isn't. It's too bad. Monique saying, I'm at every game, but that game where we honored Vince, say nothing less. Yeah. I mean, we needed to honor him, and we should honor him and stuff like that. Yeah, she'll be there for sure if we do anything for him. Ken is saying Vince should get a statue because he grew basketball. Yeah, I would agree with this. I'm not against honoring him and stuff like that, but we do need, like I said, we need to have tiers of honoring. Kyle and DeMar need to be above him, and he needs to be a secondary honoree in relation to them. Let's see. David is saying, Mo, you are at every game. Wow. She's not at every game, but she's watching every game, and she's saying she'll be there when they honor Vince like that. My opinion is saying I've been dropping some knowledge in the chat. Notice David has been kind of quiet since my 24/11 stat line. I think David might have gone on with his day. It's like sometimes these streams aren't this long. This is a little too long. I was actually thinking today I was going to do like 15 minutes just because I had some news and I didn't expect to get in conversation with you guys. So this is kind of how it works out sometimes. Ken is saying, isn't That isn't that worth a statue? Being first is always harder. Alvin was an average player. All right. The first statement is sure. I think that I'm not saying that Vince doesn't deserve accolades or doesn't deserve a statue. I personally don't like him. It's egregious what he did. I cannot totally forgive him for admitting he quit on us. And I've explained it already on this stream why. It's like he could have not tried and just not told anybody. Then he went around and told everybody publicly. So it's kind of like it's humiliating us on top of it. He didn't have to do that. Alvin is not just an average player. No, he was better than that. He wasn't an all-star, but he was good. Let's say he was like as good as Malcolm Brogdon is now. How about that? I would tell you that Alvin Williams is as good as Malcolm Brogdon is now. If that's lining up and saying I don't think that's an average player. I say that that's a good player, a little bit better than average. Monique saying season ticket holder since 2015. That's right. See, Monique has been there 7 years. Cool Cat saying Scotty also has Canadian friends that he went to Mount Verde with. Yeah, Caleb Houston and stuff like that. He watched Degrassi. He said that on his Twitch. He's like, I know about Canada because I watched Degrassi, y'all. I love Degrassi. It's so funny he said that. Ken's saying he's an analyst. That is his job. He tells his opinions. I know he does that. And I know that these guys get directives from their bosses at ESPN to not call the game in the favor of the Raptors. It's just that I see him and Sam Mitchell. He's another one. Sam Mitchell will call the game differently for TSN here with Leo and Kate and the way he does pregame. But when you see him at Summer League this summer calling a Raptors game, it's different. What it is these guys are from Raptors roots, Vince Carter and Sam Mitchell. So to try and show that they don't have favoritism for a team that they were associated with in the past, they overdo it and they put us down to show that they're definitely not showing a favoritism to us. That's what I'm saying. And that the things that they're saying aren't fair. They go along with the way the NBA and the media and the ESPN rank us lower than we really are. Put us down, say that we're worse than we are. That is the problem I have with that, is that he pushes their narrative with them. And they don't all do that. Kendrick Perkins doesn't do it. JJ Redick doesn't do it. So why do former Raptors like Sam Mitchell, Jalen Rose, and Vince Carter do it? They don't have to do this. They don't have to insult us in games. And they do. They do frequently. You have to watch the game and listen to what they're saying, and then you'll understand how they're slighting us. And it's just the same kind of ways that other people like Stephen A. Smith would slight us, or Chris Broussard. It's just a little bit of a different flavor. It's that kind of stuff. So Cool Cat saying, yeah, Vince likes Toronto. He's a good relation with Masai, but the team owners, I'm not sure. No, it really is like being a broadcaster. ESPN doesn't want us to be favored or shown as a good guy. We're treated as the heels. We're the bad guys. They want to always, it doesn't matter who we're playing. It could be the worst team in the league, Sacramento Kings, and they will call it from the Sacramento Kings perspective. They will never, ever do it from our perspective. They'll do it from every single of the 29 other NBA teams, and we'll always be the versus the other and stuff like that. And Vince just he reaffirms that. I wish that he could say nice things about our team in the telecast, but he doesn't. Let's just put it that way. He's not likely to point out that Scotty Barnes is certain things in some ways. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys, is that he doesn't talk us up. He puts us down, is what I'm saying. Let's see. Kenneth's saying, do you want him to lie as an analyst? Is that how the team gets better? No, but this is the thing. They're lying in the reverse. They're lying about how good we are, is what I'm saying, Kenneth. I don't want him to lie, but I also don't want him to go out of his way to put us down. That really isn't necessary. That much like in political world, there's a world of perception. There's a world of perceiving things around you, and the politicians tell you how you should feel. Oh, you should be worried. They're coming to take our jobs. Well, this is a similar thing. They push a perception about the Raptors that isn't totally fair or giving us enough credit. This is how they slight us. That's why I'm checking the power rankings, like I was talking about earlier, and us being 5th in the East by NBA is a big deal, because normally they will slight us and put us lower. And I don't call that lying. I call that lying. I call that lying in the way that they're not recognizing who we truly are. You know what I'm talking about. Every preseason, everybody puts us down and says we're not as good as we are, and we surprise people. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Sam Mitchell and Vince Carter will put us down, and then we surprise them. And I'm like, well, you guys should know. Hello, Sam Mitchell. You're covering the Raptors on TSN. You should understand who they are a little bit better than you do. And that's what I'm talking about. It's that phenomenon. They can be factual. I want them to tell the truth how good we are instead of lying about it. That's what I want. That's what I'm saying. Monique saying, if Lex wants, he can share my tangerine video to learn more about me. Yeah, Monique is on different places. She's done an interview. She was the community leader of the award last year for the Raptors, community champion. And they had a press conference with her and asked her questions, gave her a jersey, all kinds of stuff. Monique has all kinds of interesting interviews and things she's done. She's in the new Google ad campaign, and her picture is up on around the city in an ad for Google and stuff like that. It's so cool. David's saying he's here. I'm just tired of talking about your trivia skills, bro. Yeah, maybe there's a little bit too much of this, like too much repetition right here. I want to really finish this up. I can't go over 3 hours, guys. All right, we're going to finish up these comments and we'll stop. In my opinion, you just got to be good. Don't even have to be loyal. DeMar was dealt for Kawhi. It was the opposite, and fans showed him more love than they ever showed DeRozan. We wasn't thinking about him when we won, I can admit. Yeah, I mean, I like what Alistair's saying. Like, there's a lot of things that I value in an NBA player besides just pure talent, besides just being really good and talented. Like, you can be really good and talented and it's wasted. You got to want to win. You got to have that drive, that Michael Jordan, Mamba mentality, Kobe Bryant kind of shit. And Vince Carter didn't have enough of that to a degree. I really believe that Vince did not have enough Mamba mentality inside him as a person, in his personality. Let's just put it that way. Cool Cat saying, Vince don't need a statue. He gave opponents the game plan, and he admitted he stopped playing on the court. Vince can get a plaque, a picture for being influential, give hype to basketball. Sam Mitchell is shady in his coverage. Yeah, these are all good points. Cool Cat, I'm right on board with you. You and I we're very much lining up here. Kenneth Daniels saying, Alvin Williams, 9 points, 5 rebounds. Malcolm Brogdon, 15 points, 5 rebounds. Malcolm way better than Alvin. I don't know if that's true, man. Like, are you looking at career averages? You got to understand, Alvin had different years at different outputs. There was years where he had 15 points and like 7 assists and like 4 or 5 rebounds. You got to look at it each year. There were years earlier in his career where he wasn't used much, and that waters down his career average. The years that I'm talking about that are really important, he was clearly the number 2 on our team behind Vince as far as scoring and doing important things. That's just what I'll say. And that, like, I mean, if you were watching back then and you remember, I mean, I guess we just remember it differently. I was in the building. I worked for MLSE at that time. I saw all the games in person, like in the building when Vince and Alvin played, because I was an employee at the arena at the time. So I saw all the Leafs and all the Raptors and all the concerts, all the wrestling, everything that happened at this Air Canada Center from 1999 to 2004. I was there. So I'm just saying, this is how I feel about him. And once again, my rankings are my personal views as an astute Raptor fan from the whole history of the Raptors. This is how I look at it. And I'm not looking at it purely from a statistical standpoint, as once again, is what I'm saying, is there's a lot of intangibles and X factors that are factored into my greatest Raptors of all time ranking. So that I have to say that also. Cool Cat saying, yeah, Sam Mitchell puts down Pascal's hard work and ethics. So unwarranted. The disrespect for Pascal just in itself across the league is horrible. Like Charles and Shaq, just say he's a superstar. Say he's a superstar. God damn it. I want to hear you guys say that this year. David saying, Sam Mitchell seems like a grumpy old confused man a lot of the time. Just saying. Yeah, he's interesting. He's kind of smooth. I like him sometimes, and sometimes I absolutely hate him. Like, I don't like the stories that I've heard about when he was a coach and how domineering and controlling he was. Rafer Alston in particular has said that Sam Mitchell was an asshole and he was way too controlling of their lives. He was trying to tell his players who they could and could not date in their private lives and shit like that. And that there were times where Sam Mitchell wanted to get in fist fights with some of the players in the middle of practice. So he wasn't the most professional Raptors coach in our history. Let's just put it that way. That's my opinion. Say, I want a Vince statue so big that you can see it from your house. Every morning you have to have your coffee. It'll be looking right at your window. Well, put it near the CN Tower or something like that. Whatever. That doesn't sound very nice, is what you're saying there. David S. is saying, I can't wait till we are in the finals and are an annual contender. These American media channels are going to have to talk to us. Listen, if we reel off some sort of dynasty, like the Warriors have been a dynasty in the last few years, we get like 4 championships in the next little while, they're going to have to respect us. They're going to have to talk about us. They're going to have to say that we are a real badass powerhouse in the NBA. And I really feel like this has a real strong possibility with the core we are building right now and just the things that we're doing. It's the fundamental way to win in the NBA. Defense, rebounding, teamwork, team identity. No selfish one superstar that is so integral and so important for you to win. None of that. This is so spread out and so much everybody that I feel like that is the way you're going to win. You're going back to old team concept basketball within a league that still struggles with superstar mentality teams, team building, like, power teams like the Nets and the Lakers. Well, we see the failure of that now. And that more teams like the Raptors, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Phoenix Suns that are built correctly do a better job in competing. And I just feel like we have the right foundation and philosophy for championships, that it's just inevitable, that we're just too functional and we're just got too much good going on, that it's just going to happen, stuff like that. So yeah, we have been an annual contender for over 10 years already. Don't count the Tampa year. That's the only year we didn't make the playoffs since when? 2011 or something like that, 2012. That's a pretty damn good run. And I think we can give a little bit of an excuse for the Raptors with the Tampa year. I mean, come on. Let's see. Poor Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, poor Stephen A. Smith. Raymond Jacobs saying, when I was a kid, my mom taught me that if people hate you, they secretly are jealous of you. U.S. loves to hate on Canada because, hello, we're just damn better. Having lived half my life in the U.S. and half my life in Canada, there's a lot of truth to what Raymond Jacob is saying, but it goes both ways. We have a little bit of an inferiority complex with the U.S., and the U.S. has a little bit of a problem with the Canada also, with, you're so much better than us. You think you're better than us? Kind of stuff like that, too. I don't know. It's a very interesting thing. It's something that's dominated my entire life, being an American Canadian and stuff like that, and having lived both sides. So I can really tell you how it is on both sides from real experience, 20 years on both sides. So Monique's saying, wow, I could never sit through a long live stream like this. This is my first one ever. This is way longer than it should have been. I blame, that's my opinion, and a couple other people that are in here perpetuating the stream way longer than it should have been. Stuff like that. Cool Cat saying, Alvin Williams was like a Kyle Lowry light version. He had that tough Philly mindset and floor manager. He did what was necessary to win. That's right. Cool Cat's remembering a lot of this stuff. There's intangibles. There's X factors that are factored into this. And the loyalty thing is huge. And he was there when we needed him. And he was successful. And we won because of him. That's what I'll say also. That's my opinion. Say, let's do a 24-hour Raptors Vince Carter stream. Whatever. At some point, if you do this too much, I might have to change the rules of this channel and really make it time constrained, where it's like, we can't go so long, guys. All right, get your comments in. No more comments after this time. I might have to start saying this. Kenneth Daniels saying, Coach Sam Mitchell was Coach of the Year in 2007. That's true. He was a good coach in some ways, but also not. We say he was a mix of good and bad. Alistair saying, we got revenge on Harden in scrimmage. I'm sure they did. I'm really curious about what these guys talk about at Rico Hines. Like, is there shit talking going on between Pascal and James Harden? Is James Harden like palling around with the Raptors and like saying stuff like, oh, it'd be so fun to play in Toronto with you guys. You're so fun. You guys are fun guys. You guys have strip clubs in Toronto? It'd be something like that. He's like, yeah, we got lots of strip clubs, James. Hey. No, we don't want James Harden on the Philly. Let the Sixers have him. He's fine there. Stuff like that. All right, listen. Kenneth Daniels saying, take good with the bad with Sam. He had a young team. Be fair, put it in his perspective. Yeah, at the time, I actually really loved Sam Mitchell, and I still really had all positive thoughts about him. It wasn't until after the fact that I heard players that played for him during that time talk about what he was really like behind the scenes that I started to like going, and then I kind of coincided that with his personality on TSN. Like, there's been times where he's kind of been kind of chauvinist towards Kayla Gray and other people around him on the broadcast. I really pick up on a lot of things. And he, there's some things about him. He's very cocky and arrogant. And he does, I know he's being fair in some ways, but in some ways he unnecessarily puts down the Raptors. And he doesn't need to. He really doesn't. And stuff like that. So let's see. Kenneth's saying also, Raptors are good and a contender, but allow analysts to state their opinions. Raptors are a playoff team, but maybe a tough out in the second round. Okay. I mean, that's fair. And like I'm allowing you, I do that for them too. It's just that I hate they have such a platform and they put so much out there. And the effect that I found, part of the reason why I started this channel in the first place, is I was realizing that Raptor fans were so negative about our team, that inwardly we looked at our team in a bad way. And I felt like part of it is we're trained by the media to look at our team that way. And that's why I'm like, listen, to counterbalance the overtly pessimistic, negative, putting down the Raptors and how good they really are realistically and stuff like that, there needs to be a counterbalance. Somebody like me who's really like positive and pushes them up and says, maybe they're a little bit better than everybody thinks they are, to balance that out. That's what I'm saying. I don't like how toxic Raptors fan nation is about putting down the Raptors. And I feel like the broadcasters are the one that influence us to do that. And that if we are Raptor fans and we're watching a lot of NBA media from the States, we are more likely to hate ourselves, is what I'm saying. There's some parallels to this that you could put once again in real life and society about how people treat people or tell people with race and stuff like that. There's some weird gaslighting and different things like that. You can put the connection together in your own head of what I'm saying. Is like, if you have media portraying things a certain way and saying things a certain way, it treats people to look down on themselves, is what I'm saying. And that this is a mechanism that has been used against Raptors organization for years by the NBA to make us weaker, is by telling us we're not that good, that we suck, that we're horrible. And that's why I feel like it's more important for us to battle that by being overly positive and thinking way better than we are going to be, because they're anchoring us down further than we should be. So somewhere in the middle is where we actually are. I will say that and stuff like that. David's saying, thanks, guys. See you, Lex. I'll see you, David. Have a good time. Have a good rest and get that studying. And I want you to beat opinion. I'm actually kind of rooting for you in this one. This Johnny come lately's talked a lot, and we got to see him actually perform first. It's all right. That's my opinion. You're new, and I like that you're here, and I want you to keep coming back. Just realize we like to keep things a little more condensed. We're going to try and do that more in the future. It's like, I do have things I got to go do. I haven't eaten my breakfast yet. What? It's afternoon. Cool Cat saying, my last comment, so excited about that Rico Hines summer run. It's a big move that Rico Hines is assistant coach. Lots of players have access to Pascal's development training team. Woohoo! I love that they're all there. Once again, getting back to the original subject of the stream, 9, maybe 10 of the 20 Raptors who are on our training camp roster are in Los Angeles working out this week with Rico Hines, Earl Watson, Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes. They're all there getting time in and getting synergized and getting more time together. And people like Jeff Doughton Jr., Ron Harper Jr., Christian Koloko are there with them. And this is all really, really, really good. That's my opinion. Saying you keep a nice amount of viewers, though, especially with the Raptors in the offseason. Hey, I appreciate that. Well, there's a lot. I have a loyal fan base. I really appreciate the regulars, the ones that come in here every day, like Tom Duke and David and G and people like that. And you could become one of them if you'd like to do that every single day, 9:30. I don't give a shit. I'm going to be here. It's the middle off season. We don't have a lot to talk about. I will talk about it. Alistair saying GTJ, Precious, Barnes, Pascal, 4 players taking a leap this season, plus a bench. Easy first seed. There's so much ways we can grow. That's what I'm saying. The other league, the rest of the league won't look at us. Like Sam Mitchell and Vince won't look at us in this way. They won't say, well, the Raptors aren't going to get any better. They haven't changed their team. I don't think they're going to be any better this year. Wait and see what they say and what they're predicting for the Raptors this year, specifically these guys. Sam Mitchell, Vince Carter, Jalen Rose. Go see what their prediction is for the Raptors and understand what I'm talking about at that point, stuff like that. I have some opinions saying, hit that like button, everybody. I like that. Yeah, and hit the subscribe button. Help me get to 1,000 because then I can do all kinds of cool things with my channel and stuff like that and make it even better for y'all. So that's what we're trying to do. David S is committed to trying to help me do this. You could do that too. That's my opinion. So help me out. Share me. Tell your friends that are Raptor freaks like us to come discover us and be a part of this too. Ken is saying NBA is a tough league. I get your point, but NBA is a championship or bust. I disagree that they're saying Raptors are a bust. Broussard's comment was unfortunate. Don't throw a baby out with the bathwater. Okay, I'm going to try and be fair with this and really listen to your subject here. The NBA is a tough league. It is championship or bust. And that's the thing. That's the thing. The thing that slights me is that, listen, they can talk about Boston. They can talk about Milwaukee. They can talk about Philadelphia. They can talk about Miami, all being real, legit NBA championship competitors. They won't say that about us, even though on the down low, we really are. Like, seriously, if you look at what we did last year with our record and our health and where we ended up at the end of the year, this is really impressive that we ended up fifth, then almost in fourth, and then it could have really easily been us in the home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. So that's what I'm saying. I'm extrapolating from good health, continued growth with young players that are absolute studs, and saying that we should be considered a championship contender out of the East. And this is how they might slight us, that they're not ranking us in that group with those guys necessarily, those four teams above us in the power rankings. They won't think that we're a legitimate championship contender, even though we really are this season. And people think I'm crazy. I said it last year. I thought we were a legitimate champion last year going into the season. And a lot of people were saying we wouldn't even make the playoffs at this time. And I was more correct. So that's what I'm saying. There's going to be a Sue ring, and then there's going to be my pie in the sky, and we're going to be somewhere in the middle. And usually we're closer to where I was saying than where they sewered us and stuff like that. So, I disagree that they're saying the Raptors are a bust. Yeah, they're not going to say we're a bust this year. They can't. They did last year, though. They did say that we were going to be a bust last year going into the season. They were coming off of Tampa. They're like, oh, they were so shitty in Tampa. They're going to be shitty this year. Well, fuck that. No, we're not. We're going to come out there and try and win. We don't play to lose. We play to win, just like OG shoots to make it. So it's that kind of thing. And, the Broussard comment is kind of an outlier, and it doesn't really have to do completely with what I'm talking about. That was just a jackass statement that he made and stuff like that. I'm talking about more just subtle, like dissing the Raptors on the down low in the broadcasts that you will pick up on from time to time. Yeah. And you know what, Kenneth? I love this back and forth that you and I have had because this has been a good discussion. A very mature discussion. We have different opinions on some things, but we're able to kind of try and find that common ground. I think you're right. I do need to look at this a little bit more. I am very much slanted and biased for the Raptors. And that sometimes when teams are critical of the Raptors, I kind of get mad at them first initially, whereas I maybe should listen to them and see if it's actually plausible or realistic what they're saying, their criticism or whatever they're saying. Stuff like that. So I appreciate you too, Kenneth, and I hope you keep coming regularly. Cool Cat saying, yes, I agree with U.S. fans and how we show our support, or us fans, sorry. I started an IG account just to post Pascal performance and achievements and hype the entire team on Twitter. That's awesome, Cool Cat. Keep going. Do it. Do whatever fun little projects you guys like to do with the Raptors. That's why Drake Cereal doing this art and stuff like that, turn it into something. Casey Bannerman, all kinds of different things happen when you're a fan and you create things with something that you love, just like Will Liu. Look at where he went to all of a sudden. Patrick, that was a great show. Thank you, Patrick. You guys are a big part of why it is. Go Raptors. Zuri saying subscribe. Thank you, Zuri. I've seen you a couple times this week, and I've really appreciated your presence. And Cool Cat saying, I found out about your Raptorsfreak from Scotty's Twitch account. He shouts you out, too. Have you met him? I've never met Scotty in person, but I feel like I know him just because of the Twitch stuff. And it's funny when people get on there and say, he doesn't know you and stuff like that. People say, he doesn't know you and stuff like that. Well, in some ways, Scotty actually does know the name Raptorfreak and that he is familiar with who the Raptorfreak is to a degree. I don't know if these guys have actually come all the way and seen what I'm doing or checking out the channel and stuff like that. I hope they do. I love to think that maybe these Raptor guys, somebody in the organization or someone's keeping tabs on what I'm saying. And that maybe we have a voice you guys in your comments and me talking to you guys that they listen to on the download. Wouldn't that be exciting in some ways to think that maybe they think, oh, this is a good think tank, the Raptorsfreak think tank, and come in and like listen to what the people on the street are saying, the real fans, the people that really care about the Raptors winning. What do they think about Armani Brooks? Or what do they think about the new player that we just got, Gabe Brown? And stuff like that. They could be testing the water sometimes with us and stuff. I love hearing that you found me through the Twitch, because I have put an ad on there a couple times. I don't spam it. I don't want to be overpowering. I don't want to piss the mods off or Scotty for trying to be like too public with it, but I'll do it at least once each stream, stuff like that. But that's really cool that you found me that way. Cool cat. All right, guys, way over. Real quick. Patrick Douglas saying, just be objective. An ESPN analyst is just not objective. They're American centered. Yeah. That's a big part of it, is that their content is not for us. In fact, their content may be on the download say, let's make this content and let's see if we can piss off Canadian people that love the Raptors and that kind of stuff. It's just how it is, the lay of the land. All right, guys, thanks for being here with me. This marathon stream that turned into something. I was like, what am I going to even talk about today? I was like thinking I would not be on long today, because I was like, I don't have a whole lot to talk about. I'll talk about Rico Hines, talk about the art exhibit at the Spadina House on Friday and Saturday. Guys, go check it out. There's an Afrofuturism exhibit in downtown Toronto at Spadina House, featuring some art that mashes up old times with the Raptors. There's like a great, beautiful portrait of Malachi, Delano, Precious, and stuff like that. It's free to the public. That's the 5th and the 6th from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Spadina House, downtown Toronto. Go check out some art and get cultured, and mix in some Raptors fun with it by seeing some cool paintings with the Raptors in them. It's really cool stuff. And then congratulations, Gabe Brown. I hope you do really well for the Raptors. I'm excited to see how you play and who you are as a young man, and see how you fit in with our organization. And hopefully we can develop you into the best possible NBA player that you can be, and do great things in a Raptor uniform someday. All right, Rico Hines, keep on running. I love seeing Big Four and Pascal and Malachi and all those guys out there doing badass moves and stuff like that. Please keep sending us more highlights from Rico Hines this week. We are thirsting for it as NBA fans and Raptor fans all over the place. We want to see more. So please just get a live stream set up in the gym. Please, Rico. I would sit and watch that all day. If I could just watch what's going on in your gym this week, I would sit and watch it all day. All right, thanks again. And thank you for subscribing, Zuri. And thank you for liking, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Raptors in Rico Hines, baby. Looking so good, Rico Hines. All those guys are there. 9 Raptors at Rico Hines running up and down the court with James Harden and Tyrese Halliburton, stuff like that. It's so good. So good for our team. We're going to be badasses. Trust me. Let's go Raptors, baby. See you tomorrow.